This is Carson-Newman football on the Eagle Sports Network. Today's game is brought to you in part by Appalachian Electric Cooperative, Domino's, the Carson-Newman Chick-fil-A, by ShopCNEagles.com, by the Kate Insurance Agency, the Eagle Club, the Bible Insurance Agency, by Coke Zero, the Tennessee National Guard, by Magaha Electric, InterDigital, and by Lisa's Country Kitchen. Now, here's the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier.
Back at Berkshire Stadium, it's Carson-Newman and Tusculum in the second oldest rivalry game in the state of Tennessee on the docket today. Carson-Newman's team is beginning to file into Berkshire Stadium. The band is lined up, and the Eagles, clad in all blue today, just about set to make their entrance onto the field. The helicopter has delivered the game ball, and then a couple of ex-Navy SEALs will be bringing it onto the surface here at Berkshire Stadium for Veterans Appreciation Day. And a lot going on today. All of Carson-Newman seniors are making their way out to midfield for the pregame coin toss, and we'll let you listen in to the Eagles as they make their way onto the field. All right, Michael Wattrang, your keys for this one.
Well, I think the biggest key for Carson-Newman in this game is to play a full 60 minutes against a very solid Tusculum team. They're one of the better defensive teams in the league this year. And for Carson-Newman, it really comes down to how they start this game. I know last week they started off really well and then got into a dogfight with Limestone. But you got to come out of the gates firing. You cannot give this Tusculum team a feeling that they can stay in it. That's what happened last year. Carson-Newman in the kicking game really had some mistakes, kept Tusculum around, never could get that lead out to 2 to 3 scores. I think that's the critical thing for CN today. Come out firing, find a way to get up by a couple scores, and be able to maintain that lead against a Tusculum offense that cannot throw the football with any level of success. You force them into obvious passing situations, and you should be able to run away with this one.
Yeah, that is the thing more so than anything else. Make Tusculum throw the football. Rick St. George is out at midfield conducting the...
Josh Hunter will flip the coin. He is combat veteran, Marine Corps retired. Flip cost before he flips it. You won the toss? Defer. Tusculum won the toss. Defer their choice the second half. You want the ball? Which way you want to kick? Turn this way, right over here. Thank you very much.
So the Pioneers win the toss, but the Eagles...
Carson-Newman will receive. Gentlemen, shake hands. Let's have a great ball game.
We'll start off with the football. Now let's send it down to the sidelines for Leanda Carey for today's weather report.
Thanks, Adam. It's a cool, crisp day, but sunny and bright. Blue skies all around. It's 52 degrees right now, and the high for today is 56. We have very light winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour, and a 0% chance of precipitation throughout the duration of the game. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leanda Carey. The game ball being delivered now by two former U.S. Navy SEALs. There's a nice 50-foot flag hanging from a Jefferson City Fire Department truck off of Davis Street off to our left. Really nice environment for Senior Day and Veterans Appreciation Day here at Mossy Creek for Carson-Newman and the Tusculum Pioneers. So, Eagles clad in all blue, blue tops, blue trousers, orange helmets for Carson-Newman with white numbers on the front and back of the jerseys. The Pioneers across the way, white tops, black sleeves, orange trousers for the Tusculum Pioneers. And they will kick off from right to left to open up this contest with Marcus Williams and Ray Arterbridge deep to receive the kick, presumably from Allen Andruski. Second oldest rivalry game in the state of Tennessee, with a lot riding on it. Eagles looking for a playoff berth, Pioneers looking for a winning season. So Allen Andruski has it teed up toward the left hashes. Steps to his left and strides forward, puts right toe to ball. It's a short kick that comes down to Zach Webster at the 33. He moves up the right hashes up to the 38-yard line for a 5-yard return. And the Eagles start off good field position. Tusculum not kicking off to Ray Arterbridge or Marcus Williams. So 1st and 10 Eagles from their own 38-yard line.
Great starting field position for Carson-Newman. We saw Troy Dendy last week have a monster game for CN. Antonio Wimbush did his thing with 3 rushing scores. See how this offensive line fares against the Tusculum defense that ranks 4th in the league in total defense.
It's Dendy and Wimbush starting the game in the backfield for Carson-Newman behind Tyler Thackerson, who gets the nod in place of Derek Evans. He was suspended, was Evans last week. 2 wide set, Kelly and Westfield to the short side right, as the play call coming in from Carson-Newman's sideline here on the near side. Plenty of time on the play clock at 20. As Thackerson brings the line set, sees Tusculum linebacker move into a hole and calls an audible. Now Thackerson takes, gives on a counter play to the left side. Wimbush, a good gain across the 40 between the hashes, up to the 43-yard line before Nick Jackson wraps him up. 5 yards on the first play of the day, 2nd and 5 for Carson-Newman.
Tusculum goes with 3 down linemen, and they bring 1 linebacker. That's Javon Green, 6'1", 230. He goes to the strong side guard, trying to take away the dive in that direction. Eagles run the ball to the weak side with a 2 tight end set. Eagles able to get 5 yards on the first play. Good job by Tyler Thackerson sensing that. And now it looks like Tusculum will go with 5 down linemen.
Eagles go to a 2 tight end look. Dendy and Wimbush the split backs. Thackerson takes, option to the right, pitches to Dendy. Dendy does not have a seam, and he's overwhelmed, tackled for a loss back at the 40-yard line. The Pioneers, David Johnson running the alleyway to strike him down for a loss of 3. 3rd down and 8 to go.
Well, what Tusculum did right there, they went 5 down linemen. Pretty much everybody was in the box, daring Carson-Newman to throw the ball. Well, Carson-Newman thrives in situations where they have more offensive players for your defensive players. Tusculum there had a bunch of white hats around the pitch, and Thackerson had no chance, and now CN behind the sticks on 3rd and long.
Eagles go 3 wide on 3rd and 8, right hashes at their own 40-yard line. Thackerson brings Kelly in motion to the right, takes the snap, rolls the pocket left, settles, throws, Westfield left sideline. Westfield goes up, snags it with one hand, but he's pulled out of bounds, incomplete in Tusculum territory at the 48-yard line. And an auspicious start for Carson-Newman's offense. Eagles go 3 and out on their first possession.
Well, critical now to see what Mike Turner does in terms of adjustments, but Thackerson was under a little bit of pressure, had to throw earlier than he wanted to, and just chucked it to the sideline. Smart choice. All he could do is try to get it out wide. Westfield couldn't keep his feet in bounds, and CN has to punt, and Tusculum works things perfectly. They defer the opening kickoff, and now they're on the right side and have the advantage.
D. Alford set to return this kick, and Kraft hangs one high. Gorgeous kick. Alford will field it with a fair catch along the left hashes at his own 14-yard line. And a flag on the play in Tusculum territory back at the 43-yard line. As it stands, it's a fine 46-yard kick for Nate Kraft.
During the kick, holding number 46 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
And so you'll back the Pioneers up inside of their own 10 to the 7. Tusculum, the most penalized team. Tusculum, the most penalized team in the South Atlantic Conference. And the Pioneers stacked up inside of their own 10-yard line. Eagle fans, AEC is your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Service you can trust and value, you can depend on. Powering Mossy Creek, we're AEC, member-owned and service-driven. 1st and 10 Pioneers from their own 7-yard line. Thurlow Wilkins gets the nod over Jordan Shippey, who's questionable today. And Joaquin Collazo goes into a shotgun formation. 4 wide set, trips to the right. Hand off Wilkins straight ahead, picking his way forward. Nose dives inside, up across the 10 over the left hashes. And is brought down from behind by Nick Owens, so a 3-yard gain. Second down, 7 to go. Tusculum spreads Carson-Newman out, gets 3 yards as a result.
Tusculum's offensive line, maybe the biggest in the league this year. Everybody checking in at 3 bills at least, and the right tackle, Christian Couture, 6'5", 338.
Second down, 7 to go for the Pioneers. Left hash at their own 10-yard line. A set with 2 tight ends for Collazo. Takes the snap, hands off Wilkins straight ahead, trying to find a cutback lane. He does a little bit and ekes his way up 2 yards between the hashes up to the 13-yard line. Another 3-yard gain. Presley the stop. Third down, 4 to go. No score, 12:30 to play first quarter.
Yeah, it's a great job by Montel Presley up front. This is not an obvious passing situation. Playbook wide open for Tusculum on third and very manageable, needing just 4 yards to go. Coming out with 4 wide receivers, I think the Eagles have to stay true to potential run play.
Eagles go with a 3-man front. Collazo in the gun. Wilkins to his left. Trips go to the wide side right. 3rd and 4. Collazo takes, looks to throw to the right. That is incomplete. His receiver fell down up at the 20-yard line. Was aiming for Deshaun Davis out in the flat. Was open, but Davis slipped. And as a result, he's on the ground, can't reach his paws up to pull down Collazo's pass, which would have been on target. And the team swapped 3 and outs, but the Eagles winning field position here early.
Yeah, great throw from Collazo. Even though his receiver fell down, gave him a chance, took something off of it. Probably should have been caught by Davis, so each team go 3 and out after a solid opening play on their drive.
Farrell and Wimbush back to receive this punt from Cantrell. He gets it off with his right leg. It's a wobbler. That'll bounce at midfield, take a nice Tusculum roll inside the 40, inside the 35, and bounce down to the Carson-Newman 30-yard line over the hashes right side. Russ downs it, and a dandy of a punt for Cantrell. A 57-yarder to at least flip field position, and the Eagles with some work to do now.
Well, what I'd like to see Carson-Newman do is maybe go over the top on this drive.
We'll see what the Eagles have dialed up when we come back. No score with 11:48 to play first quarter in the second oldest rivalry game in the state of Tennessee. This is the Eagle Sports Network.
First Baptist Academy in Powell seeks to assist parents by providing an excellent classical education that fosters a biblical worldview, striving to equip students to impact the world for Christ. Schedule a tour of FBA today by calling 947-8503 or visit the website at fbaeagles.org. Grades pre-K through 12th are available with an individualized teaching approach. Get your children into a discipleship model of education today with a family environment at First Baptist Academy Powell. Ask for more information and take a closer look at FBA soon. Call the office and set the appointment. 865-947-8503 or fbaeagles.org.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
You are listening to the flagship station for Carson-Newman football, AM 620, WRJZ Knoxville.
Carson-Newman and Tusculum swap 3 and outs on their first 2 possessions. Now the Eagles have it 1st and 10 from the right hash at their own 30-yard line. Thackerson takes, gives on the dive, left of center to Dindy. Dindy a push up across the 30, the line of scrimmage up to the 32 between the hashes. Before he runs into the thick of the Tusculum defense led by Javon Green and Colton Strickland. So 2 yards, 2nd and 8 for Carson-Newman.
Carson-Newman struggling to move the football right now, and Tusculum's got a good game plan, really overloading the box and forcing CN to make a decision between throwing it or running it.
11:20 to play first quarter, no score, 2nd and 8 for Carson-Newman, middle of the field. At its own 32. Thackerson takes, straight drop, looks to throw, wants the deep ball. Westfield left sideline. Westfield tries to make an over-the-shoulder grab. Can't do so. It is knocked away by D. Alford right as it got into Westfield's hands. And an elite play by the 5'11 senior corner out of Griffin, Georgia, to play that without pass interference.
He was getting a little hand tug right on the jersey of Westfield, but I think both players were kind of going back and forth with their hands trying to jockey for position. Pretty good coverage out there on an elite receiver.
Hey, Eagle fans, Domino's is the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. When you're hungry, reach for Domino's. Get a large one-topping pizza for $5.99 with your Carson-Newman ID. Domino's, it's the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. 11:08 to play first quarter. No score. Eagles with 3rd and 8 from their own 32. Thackerson takes, straight drops. Now steps up. He'll run. Thackerson with a lot of running room. He's across the 40, has the first down, pushing his way to the right sideline and forced out of bounds by Nick Jackson up at the 44-yard line. Field just opened up for Tyler Thackerson, and he takes off for 14 yards up to the 46.
In essence, a cover one. One deep safety playing the middle of the field. That's Nick Jackson. He was the one that forced Thackerson out of bounds. Otherwise, man coverage across the board. Good blocking by the O-line, and Thackerson spotting a seam and plugging it up in there for the first down of the game for either team.
Eagles moving left to right, all blue jerseys under sun-soaked Berktar Stadium. 2 wide set to the wide side left for Carson-Newman. Now Kelly in motion short side right. Thackerson takes, fakes the handoff. He'll roll the pocket left, look to throw, dumps over the middle of the field, complete to Romaine Kelly at the 35, angles his way toward the left sideline and gets yanked down by D. Alford in Tusculum territory down at the 33-yard line. 21 yards through the air to Romaine Kelly, and the Eagles move the sticks.
That was my favorite play as a quarterback. You fake the run play to one side, you roll out the other side. You got a deep post and a drag route behind you. He picks out the drag route. Kelly wide open against linebackers, and an easy pitch and catch for Thackerson to Kelly.
11:05 to play first quarter. No score, but the Eagles have it in Pioneer territory. 1st and 10 at the Tusculum 33 left hash. Wimbush and Jackson split backs behind Thackerson. McCarriv in motion. Thackerson takes, option to the right. Nobody's there, and Tusculum wraps him up for a loss. D. Alford running the alleyway, stops him 2 yards deep in the backfield, back at the 35-yard line. Feel like somebody missed an assignment there.
Well, here's what they are doing against this running attack of Carson-Newman. They are having that alley runner go as soon as the ball is snapped, so CN is not getting a block on the outside, and that pitch option is really being disrupted, something that isn't working for CN. They'll have to go back to some of these run plays up the middle, try to work between the tackles.
9:20 to play first quarter. No score. Eagles on their second possession, moving left to right. 2nd and 12 for Carson-Newman from the 35. Thackerson takes, he's back to pass, throws the long ball to Westfield over the middle of the field. Westfield loses his defender and catches it in stride in the middle of the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Braxton Westfield burns D. Alford for 35 yards, and the Eagles strike first through the air on the home run ball to Westfield on the post, caught it on the Allen Eagles in the middle of the end zone.
I'm not sure if Alford lost a step, but Braxton Westfield can run away from anybody. Great throw from Thackerson. Put it up there where his receiver could get it and just run underneath it. CN, they're going to need the passing game today. Pretty obvious to try to open some things up, and it works here for the first score of the game.
Kraft on for the point after attempt. Campbell's snap is back. Udy's hold is down, and Kraft's kick ricochets off the roof of the Ken Sparks Athletic Complex. 7-0. Carson-Newman draws first blood on the post to Braxton Westfield over the middle of the field. A 35-yard score has the Eagles up 7-0 with 9:05 to play in the first quarter. Back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
At the Cade Insurance Agency, our focus is you. The Cade Insurance Agency offers personalized protection plans to cover your auto, home, business, or life and health. At Cade Insurance, our goal is to partner with you in determining your insurance needs and to provide the best customer service. At Cade Insurance, we believe that loyalty is a quality that is earned. You are important to us. Call 865-475-3391 for a quote today, or visit CadeInsuranceAgency.com.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser focused on your success.
Eagles strike through the air on their first possession. Carson-Newman, 54 yards passing on a 6-play, 70-yard drive. Braxton Westfield finishes off with a 35-yard score. Now Nate Kraft sends his ensuing kickoff through the end zone, and the Pioneers will start off 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. 9:05 to play. First quarter, 7-0. Carson-Newman in the driver's seat And the Pioneers offense back onto the field after a 3-and-out on their first possession.
Carson-Newman's defense did a really good job on that first possession, being able to control the line of scrimmage for the most part. You wonder if Tusculum makes any adjustments on their side. They certainly don't want to throw the ball with high frequency and try to get this running game going.
Joaquin Collazo is in the pistol with Thurlow Wilkins behind him. 4 wide in the game, trips to the right, 1 to the left. Snap back to Collazo, steps up in the pocket, throws out to the right sideline. That's complete to Moss at the 30. And Moss is wrenched down by Jamarian McDonald along the right sideline. Actually, a yard behind the 30. Stop him at the 29-yard line for a 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. Pioneers winning first down.
Yeah, they're doing a good job on the opening downs, and that's a good play call decision by Tusculum to throw the ball to the outside, pick up a few yards. I think that's what we're going to see a lot of the short passing game for Tusculum.
Pioneers go to an A set, single wide receiver split to the short side right. And now an H-back in motion, Johnston, now as a fullback. Hand off Wilkins right side. He stumbles in the backfield, and his knee hits at the line of scrimmage as Rondro Peebles falls on top of him. No gain, 3rd down, and now a bit of an obvious passing down with 3rd and 6 for the Pioneers.
Yeah, I think that they have to go to the air attack. The thing for Tusculum that you have to worry about on any of these situations are screens and draws, tunnel screens, those kinds of things that have to keep you very disciplined on the defensive side.
8:02 to play first quarter, 7-0 Eagles leading. Pioneers facing 3rd and 6, right hash at their own 29-yard line, trailing 7-0. Looking to avoid a second straight 3-and-out. Eagles bring blitz on 3rd and 6 up the middle. And Collazo is waylaid in the backfield. Rondro Peebles sacks him back at the 20. Carson-Newman sent 3 right up the gut, and they overwhelmed the Pioneers for a sack. A loss of 9 back to the 20. And the Pioneers forced to punt, a second straight 3-and-out for the Pioneers offense.
Well, they run a stunt with the linebacking core of Dixon Brooks and Rondro Peebles, and those two were able to get home in a hurry and a great blitz.
Cantrell on the punt, gets off a spiraling kick. Farrell signals for fair catch as it bounces at the 45, takes a Carson-Newman hop backward, and is grabbed on a hop by Matt Price, a reserve tight end from Charlotte. And Carson-Newman takes over 1st and 10 at its own 44-yard line. Hey, Eagle fans, Lisa's Country Kitchen serves the best home-cooked meals that the Lakeway region has to offer. Lisa's Country Kitchen, it's the official restaurant of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Michael Watrang, Carson-Newman needs to smell blood in the water here, take a 2-score lead early in the first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely, and we saw it work with a passing game. Tyler Thackerson to Romaine Kelly, and then Westfield to complete the touchdown. I think that's going to be critical for CN. Let's see if it opens anything up in the ground attack.
Wimbush and Dindy are back into the game as split backs. Kelly and Westfield, the wide receivers, with Westfield split to the wide side right in single coverage against D. Alford. Tight end is McCarriff to the left of the line, and now Tusculum is out tapping on Carson-Newman offensive linemen's jerseys. This should be offsides. I did not see Carson-Newman flinch. We'll let Rick St. George tell us. It was Clemens the first one in the neutral zone.
Number 92 on the defense by contact. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So, yeah, Xavier Clemens out of his stance and rested his hands on Tavon Murray's back. Eagles move forward 5 yards. 1st and 5 now for Carson-Newman. Just shy of midfield at the Eagles' own 49-yard line. Up 7-0, 7:04 to play first quarter. Thackerson under center. Takes the snap. Gives on the dive. Wimbush straight ahead. Surges forward for a couple yards to the Tusculum 49. Clemens wrangles him down. Just 2 for Wimbo. But it's 2nd and 3 for Carson-Newman from inside the scruff of the Eaglehead logo. Just outside the eye. 6:46 to play. First quarter. 7-0. Eagles the lead. 2 carries for 7 yards for Antonio Wimbush. Pioneers have done a good job bottling up Carson-Newman's ground game. Just 3 yards a carry. As the Eagles moved early, no whistles. Now there's a whistle. Antonio Wimbush was
number 27 on the offense.
Pardon me, Troy Dindy was a step out of his stance.
Second down.
A half second early, and that's what the Eagles don't need. They do not need to put themselves behind the sticks against a very talented, very good Tusculum defense. And now it's 2nd and 8 for Carson-Newman from their own 46-yard line. Leading 7-0, 6:22 to play first quarter.
Tusculum's defense this season giving up just under 24 points per game this year. They have 19 turnovers forced on the season through 10 games.
They've been really good on this win streak. 12 turnovers over the last 4 games and just 15 points a game. Thackerson takes on 2nd and 8, option to the right side, fakes the pitch, keeps it. He's across midfield, angling his way to the right sideline, forced out of bounds in Pioneer territory with a first down in hand at the Tusculum 44. Ivan Hogan's pressures Thackerson out, but Thackerson makes a play with his legs, picks up 10 yards, and moves the chains for Carson-Newman.
Well, rare time in this game where things open up. And that's exactly what happened for Tyler Thackerson there. He had just one man to contend with on the outside, and he was able to make it work.
1st and 10 Eagles, right hash at the Pioneer 44, leading 7-0 with 5:43 to play in the first quarter. Eagles, with a win, would be playoff bound for the first time since 2015. Johnson and Dindy split backs as Thackerson takes. He fumbles the snap, falls on top of it, and it's no gain for the Eagles at the 44-yard line. Alert by Thackerson to just drop down, recover it, and see what the Eagles can do on 2nd and 10. You don't need no game plays, though, against the Pioneers.
No, but Carson-Newman is doing a good job in the balance so far. They've had 3 different rushers so far in the game. Not necessarily amounting to a ton, but the fact that you're able to get a lot of different people involved has been very nice. You lose on first down, big second down play coming up for CN.
2nd and 10 Eagles toward the right hash at the Pioneer 44-yard line. Thackerson brings McCarriv in motion to the wide side left. Takes the snap, option pitch, right side Dindy. Dindy's got a seam, cuts back at the 35, stays on his feet inside the 30, across the numbers and down to the 26-yard line before Hogan wraps him up. Pitch to Dindy goes for 18, and the Eagles move the sticks on 2nd and 10.
Well, very good move by Dendy. He left Malik Goodman in the dust right around the 35-yard line. But finally, this option's starting to pick up because I think Tusculum has had to dedicate some resources to the passing attack and make sure that they cover the receivers.
1st and 10 Eagles, right hash at the Pioneer 26. Thackerson takes, trapped to the right side. Dindy has a little sliver of daylight. He ekes his way inside the 25 over the boundary right side down to the 27 for a gain of 4 before he's buckled down by Solomon Hunter, 6'3", 243-pound senior out of San Antonio, Texas. 2nd down and 6 to go for the Eagles.
Well, Carson-Newman's going to have to stick with the running game all day long. I know that's what they obviously want to do, what they've done for decades, but you have to be able to take some of these 3-4 yard gains because there aren't going to be a ton of big gains in the defensive backfield.
Dindy and Wimbush split backs behind Evans. 2nd and 6 for Carson-Newman, right hash at the Pioneer 22, leading 7-0, under 4 to play first quarter. Thackerson takes, gives on the dive right of center, and a push down to the 21-yard line for Antonio Wimbush, and that's it before he runs into the teeth of that Pioneer defense led by Javon Green. Just a yard for Wimbush, 3rd down and 5 to go for Carson-Newman. They need the 16.
Well, this is an interesting play call for Mike Turner. 3rd and 5. Do you go through the passing attack? You have Braxton Westfield and Romaine Kelly on the same side of the field. Westfield's in the slot to the wide side left for Thackerson. Or does he think that he's got a running play thinking Tusculum is going to dedicate some things to the passing attack? Just 6 in the box right now for Tusculum.
Thackerson quickly takes, gives on the dive to Salisbury left of center. He pushes forward down to the 18 before he's collapsed on by Xavier Clemens from behind, and needed 5, only got 3. 4th down and 2 to go for Carson-Newman, and the offense staying on the field in spite of the reliable leg of Nate Kraft on the sideline.
Well, I think Mike Turner believes that his defense can get a lot of stops. This is so much a confidence thing for your defense than it is a situation where you feel like you should go for it. You feel like your defense isn't going to allow an 80-yard drive.
4th down, 2 to go for the Eagles between the hashes at the Pioneer 18. Wimbush and Salisbury are the split backs behind Thackerson, wide out each way. Thackerson takes, he gives on the dive to Wimbush. He's got the 1st down and more. Across the 10 and 5, Wimbush houses it. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. The Eagles dial up the dive to Antonio Wimbush on 4th and 2, and it goes 18 yards to pay dirt. 2:25 to play first quarter. 14-0 Eagles lead it. Antonio Wimbush, the 6th player in Carson-Newman history with 40 career rushing touchdowns.
Well, that play almost got blown up in the backfield, and CN very fortunate that it didn't because Wimbush was able to make a man miss and get into the end zone.
Kraft on for the point after attempt. Snap is back, hold is down, and Kraft's kick is onto the roof of the K-Sack. It's actually rolling off the back of the roof of the K-Sack. That's a boot from Nate Kraft. 2:26 to play first quarter. 14-0. Eagles lead it after Antonio Wimbush's 18-yard rushing touchdown. We return to Berkshire Stadium after this on the Eagles.
Drive safer longer when you visit your local Michelin dealer, Fleet Tire, for a set of Michelin Defender tires. Michelin is the brand drivers turn to for tire options that deliver a safe, quiet, and comfortable ride. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue, exit 1B, Knoxville. Based on internal wet braking results versus Goodyear, Assurance, Comfort Tread tires, and third-party wear test results versus Continental ProTrack tires with Eco Plus. See manufacturer's limited warranty book for details. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue.
Nana, we can leave in a second. I need to pay a bill first.
Well, don't you need to write a check?
A check? No way. This is how we pay bills now, with our phone. And it's paid.
A lot has changed since Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union started 85 years ago. Whether you write checks or use tools like mobile check deposit or send money, we're helping you do more. Visit tvacreditunion.com to learn more. Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, moving together through life, upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Ask for details.
Nate Kraft's kickoff is into the end zone for a touchback. Pioneers take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line, trailing Carson-Newman 14-0 after Antonio Wimbush's 18-yard score. Let's send it down to the sidelines, check in with Leanda.
Thanks, Adam. After Tusculum's first series, cornerback Ray Arterbridge came off the field shaken up, bent over, laying his head down on the ground between his elbows. They got him into the training tent. He now has a supportive brace on his left shoulder. He may be back. Trainers aren't sure yet. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Leanda. Collazo out of the gun, 1st and 10 for the Pioneers, middle of the field at their own 25. Wilkins off to his left, trips to the right. Collazo takes, stands in the pocket, 4-man rush, zings over the middle of the field. That's complete at the 30 to Ponder. Wiggles his way up to the 32-yard line between the hashes before he's wrapped up by Rondro Peebles. A 7-yard gain through the air for the Pioneers looking for their first down. They're trailing 14-0, 2:10 to play in the first quarter. Pioneers with now 3 yards of total offense coming into their third drive. Second down. 3 to go for Tusculum, middle of the field at their own 32. Collazo into the pistol. Wilkins off of his right hip, 2 wide each way now. 4-man front for the Eagles. Snap back to Collazo. Throws the slant over the middle of the field. That's complete to Moss. Stays on his feet across the 45. He's into Carson-Newman territory. DeMarcus Jones has the back of his jersey. And officials blow the play dead up at the 49-yard line. 17 yards on the quick slant over the middle of the field to Jacob Moss. 1st and 10 Pioneers, their first down of the game. Tusculum moving the ball through the air. 88 seconds left, first quarter. 14-0, the Eagles leading. Carson-Newman's gone 3 and out once and scored twice. Westfield a 35-yard catch. Wimbush an 18-yard touchdown rush. 1st and 10 Pioneers from their own 49. Collazo out of an A set, takes the snap, hands off Wilkins, stretch play, left side. He's hit in the backfield and driven down by Rondro Peebles. Rondro Peebles running the alleyway, gives Wilkins a stick. Officially no gain back to the 49, 2nd and 10.
Well, that play was all set up by Montel Presley at his D-line spot. He was able to get a heavy push against the center and force Wilkins to have to wait in the hole. Peebles was able to scrape over the top, and he was able to get right into the backfield and make a big pop.
42 seconds left first quarter. 14-0 Eagles leading Tusculum. Carson-Newman looking for its first NCAA playoff berth since 2015. 2nd and 10 for the Pioneers toward the left hash at their own 49. Collazo out of the gun, takes the snap at the waist, stands in the pocket, faces the rush. Now he steps up, he's sacked. Nick Owens grabs him as he lurched forward in the pocket, and Owens sacks him for a loss of 2 back to the 47-yard line. Exceptional pressure for the freshman out of Newmarket, Alabama. 3rd and 12 for the Pioneers.
Well, that's a sign of a young quarterback in Collazo. He had a fairly decent pocket, and he was able to step up at the last second, but ran right into the rush of Nick Owens.
That'll bring the first quarter to a close. It squarely belongs to Carson-Newman after 15 minutes. 14-0, Eagles leading. Pioneers face a 3rd and 12 when we come back after these messages. This is the Eagle Sports Network.
Don't know what to wear on game day? Head over to shopseeandeagles.com for all of your Carson-Newman athletics gear. You can find clothing from Adidas, Columbia, Nike, and Under Armour to cover you from head to toe. ShopSeeingEagles.com also has duffel bags, backpacks, jewelry, pet supplies, and gifts. Don't waste any more time. Prove you are the ultimate Carson-Newman fan with the official gear of the Eagles at ShopSeeingEagles.com. Visit today.
Dorm food got you down? Need a home-cooked meal? Then Lisa's Country Kitchen is for you. Lisa's Country Kitchen has been feeding Carson-Newman students for 15 years. Lisa's has a family-friendly atmosphere all day long. From the morning with their $2.99 breakfast specials to dinner with Lisa's fresh, never-frozen steaks. Carson-Newman students get a 10% discount with their student ID.
Lisa's Country Kitchen on Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
All right, back at Berktar Stadium, start of the second quarter. Eagles leading 14-0, and the Pioneers with a crucial 3rd and 11 from their own 47-yard line. Adam Cavalier, Michael Watrang, happy to have you alongside. Leanda Carey's down on the sidelines. Brandon Roberts is in the booth with us. He's our spotter. Dave Claybo running the show back inside of network control. Big 3rd and 12 for the Pioneers from their own 47. Collazo is out of the gun with Wilkins to his left. Or pardon me, that's Gamillion. Collazo takes, faces the rush, sings over the middle of the field. That's incomplete, nearly picked off by Bernard Scott down at the Carson-Newman 37-yard line. He lurched forward out of coverage against Torrey Ponder, and Scott got 2 hands on it. Tough diving play, but couldn't haul it in, but it does force a Pioneer punt.
Well, Ponder had 0 separation. None of the Tusculum receivers had separation. Good coverage by Scott.
Cantrell on to punt. It's a bouncer. Cantrell grabs it, rolls off to the right, kicks it to Farrell, who fields it over the shoulder at his own 8, and he is ushered out of bounds by the Pioneers' Ryan McIntyre. And not great field position. Eagles take over 1st and 10 from their own 9-yard line. Leading 14-0, 16 seconds into the second quarter.
Well, let's see what Carson-Newman's offense does here. Last 2 drives have been very successful, ending in touchdowns, 1 to Westfield, 1 to Wimbush. I think Mike Turner's made the adjustments that he's needed to make sure that his team finds a way to get things rolling. CN doing a great job defensively. Now the offense trying to extend this out to a 3-score lead early in the second.
Wimbush and Dindy split backs behind Thackerson. 3 wide set, 2 to the wide side right, with Waters to the short side left. Westfield and Kelly out to the wide side right. Tusculum with a 3-man front, and the Pioneers, Javon Green, trying to sneak up into the gaps to guess which way it goes. Trapped to the left side for Wimbush. Wimbush a push up across the 10 in the boundary left side, up to the 11-yard line. C.J. Bartley and Malik Goodman wrap him up. Just 2 yards for Wimbo, 2nd and 8. Wimbush 5 carries for 28 yards. He does have the rushing touchdown.
Well, it's just going to be tough for CN to run the ball against this Tusculum defense. They're very good. I mean, you have to really respect the Pioneers' defensive effort throughout this season. And had they had maybe better quarterback play throughout the year, perhaps they'd be in a conversation for a playoff spot.
2nd down, 8 to go for the Eagles. Left hash at their own 11-yard line. 3 wide set with Waters in motion to the wide side right. Thackerson takes, throws the screen to Waters, complete in the backfield. He heads along the right sideline and gets pulled down out of bounds up at the 17-yard line by Isaiah Dunn. 6 yards through the air on the screen to Corey Waters. 3rd down and 2 to go for Carson-Newman. Johnson is back into the game at tailback for Carson-Newman. He joins Troy Dindy. Trevor McCarriv into the game at tight end, wearing the number 9 in honor of his younger brother earlier today, whose life was taken tragically in a drunk driving accident 6 years ago. He's to the right of the line is McCarriv, a wide out each way, Kelly and Westfield. 3rd and 2 Eagles, right hash at their own 17. Thackerson takes, gives to Dindy on the dive. He's got the first down, surging across the 20, running between the hashes. He's up to the 25-yard line. Ivan Hogan's finally wraps him up, but Dindy broke out of Jackson Calthan's grasp at the line of scrimmage and surges forward for 8 yards to move the chains with the first down. Eagles 2 for 4 on third downs now, 6th in the country in offensive third down conversions. 14-0 Eagles leading, 13-10 to play second quarter. 3 wide set again for Carson-Newman. Johnson and Dindy split backs. Thackerson takes, straight drop, steps up in the pocket. He's flush, throws out to the right sideline, over top of Braxton Westfield's head, and incomplete. D. Alford was in coverage, as was Jackson Calthan. Javon Green, though, the one that got pressure on Thackerson, forced him out of the pocket, and a premature throw out to the right. Good job by Thackerson, though, just to unload and not take a loss. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, very smart decision there from Thackerson to be able to make that decision, get the ball out of his hands. Eagles doing a very nice job after some negative plays offensively to be able to find some things in the passing game, find some things in the running game, and for Carson-Newman, I think critical here on this drive to find a way to get into the end zone and burst this thing out to a 3-score game.
12:59 to play second quarter. It's 14-0 the Eagles lead, and a false start coming on Carson-Newman. So you didn't want to be in 2nd and 10. You definitely don't want to be in 2nd and 15, but that's what's coming.
Prior to the false start, timeout.
Oh, pardon me.
Carson-Newman. That's their first timeout in the first half.
So we'll step aside for a break as well as Mike Turner burns a timeout. 14-0 Eagles leading, 12:57 to play second quarter. This is the Eagles Sports Network.
First Baptist Academy in Powell seeks to assist parents by providing an excellent classical education that fosters a biblical worldview, striving to equip students to impact the world for Christ. Schedule a tour of FBA today by calling 947-8503 or visit the website at fbaeagles.org. Grades pre-K through 12th are available with an individualized teaching approach. Get your children into a discipleship model of education today with a family environment at First Baptist Academy Powell. Ask for more information and take a closer look at FBA soon. Call the office and set the appointment, 865-947-8503 or fbaeagles.org.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
Antonio Wimbush, a great grab on a pitch in the backfield. He heads to the left sideline and picks up first down yardage across the 35 and forced out at the 36 by Isaiah Dunn. 11 yards to Antonio Wimbush, who had Stickum on his hands to pluck a tough pitch out of the sky. Eagles move the chains. Antonio Wimbush up to 6 carries for 39 yards now. 1st and 10 Eagles, left hash at their own 36, leading 14-0, 12:42 to play second quarter.
Not just great hands, but a great jump cut right around the 25-yard line to elude a defender.
Thackerson takes, and the Eagles were not set. No, check that. Tusculum calls for time. So the Pioneers want to chat things over.
Timeout. Tusculum. Their first timeout in the first half.
That's fortunate. I really thought Carson-Newman was moving early. The Cade Insurance Agency is one of the oldest and most experienced insurance agencies in the Lakeway region. Visit CadeInsuranceAgency.com or call 865-475-3391 for a quote today. That's CadeInsuranceAgency.com or 865-475-3391 for a quote today. 12:32 to play, second quarter, 14-0 Carson-Newman in the lead. Eagles went 3 and out on their first possession, but they found points on their previous 2 drives. A Westfield 35-yard touchdown catch and an Antonio Wimbush 18-yard rushing score on a 4th and 2. It's Veterans Appreciation Day here at Berktar Stadium. Nice 50-foot U.S. flag lazily flapping in the breeze over Davis Street, hung from a Jefferson City Fire Department vehicle. And that is lazily flapping in the breeze about 80 feet above the playing surface. Eagles face 1st and 10 now. From the left hash at their own 36-yard line. Drive started back at the 9-yard line and has taken up 2 minutes of clock. Wimbush and Jackson are the split backs behind Thackerson. 3 wide set, 2 to the short side left, 1 to the wide side right. Kelly in motion to the wide side right. Thackerson takes, gives on the, no, he keeps it left side. Thackerson across the 40, a late push to Wimbush, cuts back across the 45. He picks up the first down all the way up to the 49-yard line where Ivan Hogan's yanks him down. 13 yards, the official rushing tally for Wimbush on that play. And then it's Thackerson who carries it for the first 8 yards of that before the late pitch at the 45 to Wimbush, and a flag on the play in the area of the pinch. Are they going to call a legal forward pass here?
I thought at first glance that's exactly what happened. I thought Thackerson threw that ball forward.
Illegal forward pass, number 8 on the offense. He was beyond the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Also lost him down. Second down.
So instead of 1st and 10 from the 49, as we get a second look at it in the booth, Thackerson has it at the 45. Yeah, he did. He released it forward. He absolutely released it forward. So back it up to the 39-yard line.
Definitely looked like from first glance he pushed it a little bit forward. I like the thought. I really like what Thackerson was trying to do with that play there. But unfortunate for CN, it didn't work out.
2nd and 7 for the Eagles. Left hash at their own 39-yard line. Thackerson takes, gives on the dive to Jackson. Jackson spurting forward. He's across the 45, has the first down over the left hashes, up to the 47-yard line. 8 yards for Sharon Jackson before Ivan Hogan's wraps him up. And it's 1st and 10 for Carson-Newman.
One quick update from around the rest of the league. Mars Hill leads Wingate 10-3 at the end of the first quarter. So a very interesting development potentially happening there with the Bulldogs at 9-1 on the year in the playoff hunt above CN.
Be interesting to see what would happen there should Carson-Newman win here, leading 14-0 with 11:35 to play in the second quarter. And should Wingate fall to that second loss, Eagles have the better strength of schedule than the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs have the head-to-head win. 1st and 10 Eagles. Thackerson takes, back to pass, throws the deep ball to Romaine Kelly along the right sideline. He rushes under it. He's got it inside the 20, and he totes it inside the 15. Brought down at the Tusculum 11-yard line by Lowe, who wraps him up from behind. The home run ball to Romaine Kelly along the right sideline. Dialed in for 42 yards, and the Eagles have it 1st and 10 at the Pioneer 11.
Well, that's a dynamic throw there by Tyler Thackerson. Doesn't get much better than that. 3-step drop, plant the back foot, throw it down the football field, one-on-one coverage. Romaine Kelly wins it, drops it right in the bucket.
1st and 10 Eagles, right hash at the Pioneer 11. Williams and Dindy, the split backs behind Thackerson. McCarriv in motion to the short side right. Westfield split wide side left. Thackerson takes, option to the left side. He keeps it, and Thackerson able to get a yard down to the 10-yard line before he's outnumbered by Isaiah Dunn and Malik Brooks. Just a yard down to the 10. 2nd down and 9 to go.
Carson-Newman's offense has looked really nice after the initial 3-and-out to begin this football game. And you wonder here, a touchdown, how does Tusculum respond down 3 scores?
219 yards of total offense for the Eagles. 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 9 for Carson-Newman. Left hash at the Pioneer 10. Westfield in motion to the wide side right. Thackerson takes, trapped to the left side Williams. Williams balls over one defender, moves in the boundary left side down to the 7. A flag on the play, and a flag probably in the area of a chop block or a hold here for Carson-Newman.
Yeah, it's definitely what you would probably think that it would be, where the flag was thrown in that situation.
Holding, number 76 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Remains 2nd down.
So Phil McDowell charged with the hold, and that'll back it up to the 20-yard line. So 2nd and 19 now for Carson-Newman. 10:08 to play, second quarter, 14-0, Eagles leading. Carson-Newman has outgained Tusculum 219 yards to 23 yards. The Pioneers with -6 yards rushing for a run game that came in averaging 250 yards a contest over the last 4 weeks. Wimbush back into the game with Troy Dindy. 2nd and 19. Thackerson takes, and Mike Turner didn't like what he saw.
Timeout. Carson-Newman.
So he calls
Their
for
second
time.
timeout.
Step aside for a break as well. 14-0 Eagles leading. This is the Eagle Sports Network.
Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, Magaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Magaha Electric specializes in commercial, retail, manufacturing, residential, and industrial contracting needs. Magaha Electric can provide superior service, technical know-how, and realistic budgeting for any size project in a timely, cost-effective manner. Visit MagahaElectric.com for all your electrical contracting needs. Magaha Electric, your East Tennessee electrical contracting source.
My name is Cadet Amber Calvillo. I'm in the 278th in the Army National Guard, and I currently go to Carson-Newman. I joined the Tennessee Army National Guard for the experience mainly, so I can say that I'm a part of something totally bigger than myself.
Text 278-ACR to 70000 to join the Tennessee Army National Guard.
.9:42 to play in the second quarter. Eagles on the move, leading 14-0, but the Eagles face 2nd and 19 from toward the left hash at the Pioneer 20. Moore and Westfield are the split backs as Thackerson takes. Toss to Wimbush. It's a reverse to Devon Moore. Moore looking for a seam. He's got the speed. Across the 15 and 10. Moore races to the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. The reverse to the right for Devon Moore. And the fastest man in college football outguns the Tusculum secondary for 20 yards to the house over the right side of the field. 20-0. The Eagles up. 9:32 to play in the second quarter.
That was a great run by Devon Moore. Almost looked like me in traffic yesterday with Zach Lang putting along in the left lane. He just zoomed around one defender, pushed past another, and was able to slice and dice through a couple blockers.
That's good to admit that you are a dangerous driver on air. I appreciate it, Michael. Kraft on for the PAT. It is pure. And the Eagles, just like Michael Watrang, hammer down in the left lane on the board, up 21-0 on the Pioneers with 9:32 to play in the second quarter. We return to the Berktar Stadium after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Drive safer longer when you visit your local Michelin dealer, Fleet Tire, for a set of Michelin Defender tires. Michelin is the brand drivers turn to for tire options that deliver a safe, quiet, and comfortable ride. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue, exit 1B, Knoxville. Based on internal wet braking results versus Goodyear, Assurance, Comfort Tread tires, and third-party wear test results versus Continental ProTrack tires with Eco Plus. See manufacturer's limited warranty book for details. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue.
Nana, we can leave in a second. I need to pay a bill first.
Well, don't you need to write a check?
A check? No way. This is how we pay bills now, with our phone. And it's paid.
A lot has changed since Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union started 85 years ago. Whether you write checks or use tools like mobile check deposit or send money, we're helping you do more. Visit tbacreditunion.com to learn more. Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union, moving together through life, upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Ask for details.
9:32 to play in the second quarter. A 21-0 lead for Carson-Newman. Eagles have scored the last 3 times they touch the football and have a 21-0 lead in hand over the Pioneers. 239 yards of total offense for the Eagles and some great balance. 104 through the air, 135 on the ground. And Carson-Newman doing the job against the Tusculum Pioneers. This is what the Eagles needed to do. Get up, force Tusculum to throw.
Yeah, and now that you're up 3 scores, there's a ton of game left. Tusculum can still run the football, but boy, this drive for Tusculum critical.
Kraft on to kick off, surges his right boot through it, kicking into the wind. It'll come down to Wilkins at the goal line. He rushes straight ahead. Wilkins out to the right at the 20. Start and stop move to avoid Bernard Scott. And then Thurlow Wilkins forced out of bounds after a 34-yard return along the left sideline at the 34-yard line. So good starting field position for Tusculum, and a fine job by Michael Paul to make sure that Wilkins couldn't open up that left sideline, get something extra out of it. So 1st and 10 for the Pioneers, best starting field position of the day for Tusculum, trailing 21-0 with 9:20 to play in the second quarter.
Well, critical drive for Tusculum. If they don't score here, it is danger zone time for the Pioneers.
This is where Limestone got Carson-Newman last week and started that 24-point rally. Collazo is in the pistol. Takes the snap. Hands off Wilkins straight ahead. He's hitting the backfield, and Wilkins will lurch his way forward over the left hashes, down up to the 35-yard line. Nick Owens finishes him off, just a yard, 2nd and 9 for the Pioneers. 9:04 to play, second quarter, 21-0. Eagles beating Tusculum in the second oldest rivalry game in the state of Tennessee. Collazo out of the pistol again. Wilkins behind him. Now Collazo comes under center, backs up, and stands at his own 30 for this 2nd and 9 from the Pioneer 35. Shotgun look now for Collazo. Takes the snap at the chest, steps up. He's pressured up the middle by Montel Presley. Presley gets one of those big paws on him and pulls him down from behind for a sack back at the 26-yard line. Montel Presley, beastly, got that big right hook on him and yanks Collazo to the surface for a loss of 9 back to the 26. 3rd down, 19 to go.
Well, great pressure. Montel Presley, I think, putting together one of the better games of this season. He's doing a great job getting some pressure up the middle. He's winning the battle up front.
3rd and 19 for the Pioneers. Left hash at their own 26-yard line. But Tusculum has punted the first 3 times they've touched the football. Gone 3 and out twice. Eagles looking to force a 3rd. And now a flag on the field for a delay of game.
Number 13 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
So if 3rd and 19 wasn't tough enough, make it 3rd and 24 for the Pioneers from their own 21-yard line. They need the 46, or 44, pardon me, to extend the drive. Shotgun look for Collazo. Wilkins to his right. Trips go to the wide side right. Snap back at the waist. Eagles bring pressure. Collazo airs it to the left sideline. Incomplete. Ponder was the closest man there. He was sitting at the original line of scrimmage up at the 34-yard line, but Collazo airmailed that one 4 yards deep into the sideline. And a Tusculum assistant coach makes the grab for an incompletion, and that forces the Pioneers off the field with a 3rd 3 and out. Tusculum just 16 yards of total offense. Eagles leading 21-0, playing like a team that wants to make the playoffs. Low snap bounces in there. The Eagles nearly block it from Cantrell, and it'll be fielded by Farrell at the 35. And Farrell immediately wrenched down between the hashes by Markel Clark at Carson-Newman's own 36-yard line. That's where the Eagles take over. Pretty good field position with 7:39 to play in the second quarter and leading 21-0. Not what Tusculum needed, Michael Watring. Eagles can try to deliver a death blow here.
Well, I don't think Tusculum by any means is going to quit. They're a hard-working club, but at the same time, they know that after today, they're done. The season's over. I think a little bit of that sideline starting to wonder if they have any chance in this game, and CN can put the nail in the coffin on this drive.
3 wide set for the Eagles. Wimbush and Dindy, the split backs behind Thackerson. 2 wide to the wide side right. 1 to the short side left. That's Corey Waters. Thackerson takes the snap. Option keeper on a midline dive, and Thackerson will dive down up to the 40-yard line. Ivan Hogan steps into his way. A 4-yard gain for Thackerson, 2nd and 6.
Well, Carson-Newman in the ground game hasn't necessarily been the most steady in that regard. They still have run for 135 yards, but there have been a lot of plays just like that. Gummed up, you have to take the 3 or 4 yards, which are still winning plays.
Still weird to hear you say that, 6.6 yards a carry. But you're right. There have been a few just 2-yard and a cloud of dust type plays on first down. Here's 2nd and 6. Thackerson takes, gives straight ahead to Dindy. And Dindy pushes his way along the left hashes up to the 43-yard line for a 3-yard gain. 3rd down, 3 to go after he ran into the teeth of that Pioneer defense led by Calvin. 6:43 to play, second quarter. 21-0, Carson-Newman in the driver's seat. Eagles trying to make it 4 consecutive possessions with points.
Carson-Newman's been aided by some chunk plays in this game. That long rush from Moore on the last drive, the biggest play at 20 yards.
3rd and 3. Thackerson throws a screen to Wimbush. He plucks it off the surface. He's across the 45 and 50, has the first down and forced out of bounds by D. Alford down at the 46-yard line. Antonio Wimbush, that ball was just about ready to graze the turf, but he picks it up and then scampers into Pioneer territory for a first down to the 46-yard line, a 9-yard gain through the air for Antonio Wimbush.
You know, it honestly should have been a pick six. I think it was Luis Morris, the linebacker on the left-hand side, that came in and had his back to the ball. It went right over the top of his shoulder pad. Otherwise, it would have went for 6.
1st and 10 Eagles, right hash at the Pioneer 46. Thackerson looks to the left sideline to get a play call from Mike Turner. Wide receiver each way. Thackerson takes. Option to the left side. He fakes the pitch. Now scoots ahead up across the 45 down to the 44-yard line. Ivan Hogan seals him off. 2 yards for Tyler Thackerson, alertly keeping that one. Didn't want to risk a pitch with Tusculum having that one bottled up. 2nd and 8. And
that was nearly a disaster. He didn't have that football until about 2 seconds after the snap came in. It kind of jostled around up on his elbow before he was finally able to pull it down, and that threw off the rhythm.
5:30 to play. Second quarter, 21-0, Carson-Newman leading. Salisbury and Johnson into the game. They're the running backs behind Thackerson. Westfield split to the short side left. Kelly to the wide side right. McCarrivan motion to the wide side right as the tight end. Thackerson takes, fakes the dive, keeps it left side, breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and squirts forward in the boundary left side down to the 40, tripped up by Isaiah Dunn. A 4-yard tote for Thackerson. 3rd down and a long 4 to go for the Eagles, leading 21-0 with under 5 to go in the first half.
I mean, you think this game is slanted. Well, CN has given up a grand total of 16 yards in the entire game and is over 260 as a group offensively. This has been all Carson-Newman, despite the fact both teams went 3 and out on their first possessions.
There's one thing to say about Tusculum head coach Jerry Odom. Fantastic at second half adjustments. 3rd and a long 4 for the Eagles, left hash at the Pioneer 40. Thackerson takes, rolls the pocket right. He's pressured. Thackerson still on his feet. He's at the 45, and Thackerson will amble out of bounds for a loss of 4 back at the 44. Solomon Hunter had all the pressure in the world to force Thackerson out of bounds, well beyond the line of scrimmage. A loss of 4, 4th down, and 8 to go. And Carson-Newman will punt.
Well, a rare moment where Tusculum was able to get pressure and stick with it in the defensive backfield to be able to do a good job back there and stick with all of Carson-Newman's receivers. A rare punt for CN. Big final 4 minutes. Let's remember, Tusculum deferred. They get the ball to start the second half. If the Pioneers can get points, that'd be critical.
Snap is back to Kraft. He receives it. Puts his right leg into it. A sidewinder kick to the right sideline. Will bounce at the 20. Take a Carson-Newman hop inside the 15 along the boundary right side. And be downed at the 15-yard line by Ryan Randall. So not a lengthy punt for Nate Kraft. Only 29 yards, but he pins Tusculum inside their own 20. Pioneers with 85 yards to go, trailing 21-0. 3:47 to play in the second quarter.
Tusculum had that one completion to Jacob Moss on a slant pattern, 18 yards. Other than that, they haven't had to play longer than 7.
Pioneers out of the gun with Collazo. Takes the snap and hands off on a draw up the middle to Wilkins, and Wilkins is met immediately, and he is swarmed for no gain at the 15 right up the middle. So Thurlow Wilkins, 3 consecutive games with 100-plus rushing yards. He's been bottled up, 6 carries for 5 yards. Jacob Varney, Rodjon Williams making sure he doesn't get anything there. Daniel Dixon Brooks also into the fray. 2nd and 10 for the Pioneers.
Well, Larry Slade's one of the best coordinators in this league, and if you have an offense that's predictable, boy, does he have a feast day here a few weeks before Thanksgiving. He's doing it with his defense.
2nd and 10 Pioneers, middle of the field at their own 15-yard line. Collazo out of the gun. Wilkins to his right, 2 wide each way. Eagles show blitz from Henderson. Wilkins picks it up. Collazo hit as he throws. Desmond Farrell jumps in front of the pass. Does Farrell pick it off? Yes! Desmond Farrell seizes the INT. The 19th pick of the year for Carson-Newman's defense. And Farrell puts the Eagles with 1st and 10 at the Tusculum 23-yard line. Farrell, his 19th career interception. He's got sole possession of third place on the all-time picks list. Elite play by the senior out of Miami.
Well, it all helped because of the pressure. Antonio Henderson timed the blitz perfectly and was able to come up with an excellent bit of pressure, and Farrell was able to jump the route. And, boy, All-American status right there for Carson-Newman senior cornerback.
1st and 10 Eagles, left hash at the Pioneer 23. Carson-Newman leading 21-0 with 2:55 to play before halftime. Can the Eagles take advantage of the supremely good field position? Waters to the short side left, Kelly and Westfield wide side right. Thackerson takes, gives to Dindy on the dive left of center. Not much there for Troy Dindy. Just a yard down to the 22 before he's stuck by Colton Strickland and Javon Green. 2nd and 9 for Carson-Newman. 21-0 Eagles leading Tusculum in this rivalry game. 2:37 to play in the second quarter. Thackerson on 2nd and 9 turns to the left sideline to get the play call in for Mike Turner. Dindy and Wimbush the split backs. Westfield and Kelly to the wide side right. Thackerson takes. Trap to the right side. Dindy, he has a seam. Hurdles a body at the 15. Dindy wheeling away. He dives for the end zone. Yes! Touchdown! Carson-Newman! Mamma mia! Troy Dindy, a hop, skip, and a jump to the house. And the Eagles have a 27-0 lead with 2:13 to play in the second quarter. 22 yards for the score.
That's an excellent run by Troy Dendy. Good blocks down the field, but he made that happen a lot with his wheels to be able to put the foot down, push it up in there, and Carson-Newman's offense rolling on all cylinders. And once again, a Des Farrell interception leads to CN points.
All set up by Farrell's 19th career pick. Snap is back. UD's hold is down. Kraft's kick is pure. And this is a 28-0 first half lead for Carson-Newman. 2:13 to play in the first stanza at Berktar Stadium. We return to Mossy Creek after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings. Dude, subs.
Nah, hot dog.
No, Dodger dog.
I'll drink to that. Pass me a Coke. It's gotta be crawfish. Mac and cheese. No. 7-layer dip. Ribs. No contest.
Hummus. What? You need a hot grill and an ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke. Come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke. You know it.
It's tailgate 101.
Domino's Pizza in Jefferson City and Morristown wants to help feed your business. When you're hungry at lunch, show your business card at Domino's in Jefferson City and Morristown when you make your purchase for pickup or delivery to get 25% off the entire order. That's 25% off your order at Domino's in Jeff City and Morristown when you show your business card. Call 865-471-6700 to get a pizza. Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles.
Back at Berktar Stadium, where Carson-Newman has a 28-0 lead over their rivals from Greenville, and the Eagles trying to really leave no doubt that they belong in the field of 28 for the playoffs, which start next week. Kraft will kick off after Dindy's 22-yard rushing touchdown. He sends it to Wilkins, who receives it at the one between the hashes. Wilkins straight ahead. He has blockers along the left sideline. Wilkins, he's hit by Nate Kraft at the 35. Wilkins bowls him over and rolls across the 40 up to the 41-yard line. A 40-yard return by Thurlow Wilkins. Part of that setup, Ryan Randall had a beat on Wilkins but slipped as he was cut on the backside of the play back at the 10. But Wilkins makes something happen. Tusculum, great field position. And the Pioneers in dire need of a counterpunch, trailing 28-0 with 2:02 to play in the second quarter.
Well, I'm not sure you could play any worse if you're Tusculum. You came in with a 4-game winning streak. You're playing really nice football, and today everything that could go wrong has gone wrong.
16 yards of total offense for the Pioneers, and now Collazo is into the gun with Wilkins to his right. Trips go to the wide side right. Snap back to Collazo, 4-man rush. He steps up in the pocket, sprints out to the left side. He'll keep it. Collazo forced out of bounds with a shove by Desmond Farrell. Check that, Bryce Moore into the game at quarterback, and he doesn't gain anything. Actually loses a yard back to the 40-yard line. So Desmond Farrell gets his second career sack after picking off Collazo on the previous drive. and it's 2nd and 11 for the Pioneers from the 40-yard line. Their own 40. Under 2 minutes to play second quarter. Eagles leading 28-0. A little bit the more mobile of the two quarterbacks for the Pioneers. Gamillion's into the game at running back. Snap back to Moore. Faces a 4-man rush. He's pressured up the middle, and Moore is sacked back at the 30-yard line. Trezell Giardini-Weiss shoots through the middle. He celebrates with Nick Owens. A flag on the play back at the 31. Eagles feasting in the backfield. 4th sack of the day for Carson-Newman, but we'll see what the hanky is. It's a loss of 10 if it stands. If it's on Tusculum, no chance that the Eagles accept it. We'll wait on Rick St. George for the official ruling.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 94 on the defense. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 64 on the offense. Those fouls offset, it'll be 3rd down.
So fortunate that Montel
Correction,
Presley
that's 74 on the offense.
and Rick Ginatomi, their personal fouls cancel out, and it's 3rd and eternity for Bryce Moore. 3rd and 21 for the Pioneers, who now have a whopping 5 yards of total offense. Negative 24 on the ground. Minute 41 to play, second quarter, and Rick St. George hasn't turned his mic off, but now Tusculum's going to take a timeout. I think.
Timeout,
There we go.
Tusculum, their second timeout.
Rick having himself a chuckle as he figures out his microphone. And the Pioneers with 1 timeout left. The Eagles with 1 timeout left. 3rd and 21 for the Pioneers. They need to take it out to midfield after Trezell Giardini-Weiss's sack as he steamrolled Moore right up the middle. Well, Michael Watring, everything going the Eagles' way, and Carson-Newman certainly playing like a team that wants to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that was the big question for Carson-Newman. You're going up against a team that's hungry to finish the year strong, a team that's played really well down the stretch. Carson-Newman has some distractions this senior day, some of the things that go along with that, with families being in town. Sometimes you see teams with letdowns. Well, Carson-Newman came out that first drive, 3 and out, and went to the sideline. Tyler Thackerson, Antonio Wimbush, Troy Dendy talked to Mike Turner. They made the adjustments, and boy, have those paid off.
3rd and 21 for the Pioneers. They are 0 for 4 on 3rd downs. This is from their own 30. Moore back to pass, has time, dumps over the middle of the field, incomplete, through behind his man, Torrey Ponder, on a crossing pattern up at the 35-yard line. And for the 4th time this half, Tusculum goes 3 and out. Last time the Pioneers were at Berktar Stadium, it was a monsoon. It was not a pleasant day. The Pioneers went 3 and out 7 times that day, but there was a reason for it. Nobody was moving the ball in that maelstrom. Today, perfect weather, not a cloud in the sky. Tusculum just 5 yards of total offense, and Cantrell on to punt for the 5th time this half. Cantrell will get off a wobbling kick that'll bounce in Carson-Newman territory, and I thought it hit Desmond Farrell, and the Pioneers will down it at the 5. So Carson-Newman gets a break there.
It hit Deshaun Davis in the head, the receiver covering the punt. It hit him right in the helmet at the 35-yard line and scored it about 20 yards down the field before it hit the ground.
So Carson-Newman gets a break there based on the illegal touching by Tusculum.
Illegal touching by the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 30-yard line.
We've got a nice look at that here in the booth as it just pops on McIntyre. And Carson-Newman takes over 1st and 10 at its own 35-yard line with 79 seconds left in the first half. And well, we'll see what the Eagles have in store here if Carson-Newman can dial up something. Tusculum does get the football to start the second half. Boy, the Eagles can make things really tough on the Pioneers here on Senior Day. Westfield and Kelly out to the right. Split backs are Wimbush and Dindy. Now Wimbush and Dindy split out to the right. Thackerson takes. He rolls the pocket right. Thackerson throws off of his back foot. over top of Romaine Kelly, incomplete inside Tusculum territory along the right sideline down at the 35-yard line. Thackerson had Kelly, and it looked like Kelly had a step, just couldn't find the football over his shoulder. 2nd and 10.
Well, the Eagles were trying to get that wheel route rolling, see if you could get the safety to look at Braxton Westfield on a post pattern. Thackerson lobbed it up there. Kelly just never could track it down. A rare misstep for CN's offense, but you like the aggressiveness. I think maybe you go a little bit more conservatively here, try a draw, a screen pass, just try to get a drive starter on 2nd down.
2nd and 10, Eagles leading 28-0. Thackerson takes straight drop. He wants to throw, has loads of time. Thackerson now flush from the pocket out to the left. Thackerson throws to the left sideline, incomplete to Braxton Westfield. That was never going to be complete. He threw it 3 yards out of bounds. And it's 3rd and 10, Carson-Newman from its own 35-yard line, leading 28-0. 64 seconds left in the 2nd quarter.
Well, when you have confidence in your defense, some of the typical plays that you might run, you just throw them out the window, because with 1:04 to go, you might be thinking, well, they can go 2 for 1 here before the break. Well, Tusculum can't move the ball to save their lives right now. So you're aggressive. You're trying to throw the football. You're trying to add more points, because if you go up by another score here before the break, even if it's just a field goal, boy, Tusculum is really behind.
3rd and 10 Eagles. Thackerson takes, gives on the dive to Wimbush. Wimbush spins through a tackle at the 40 and surges up between the hashes to the 41-yard line where Hogan's rings him down. A 6-yard gain for Wimbush. Eagles will go 3 and out and have to punt. And Jerry Odom burns his final timeout. So 54 seconds left in the opening half. Eagles leading 28-0. And now if you're Tusculum,
game clock to 55 seconds.
If you're Tusculum, you really have to hope that you can force something to happen in the special teams. That's what they did last year against Carson. Had 21 points off of either special teams, a kickoff return, blocked a punt, had a snap go over Craig Koenig's head for a punt that only traveled 2 yards. Tusculum got 21 points off of those situations. Made a difference in last year's 41-28 win over Carson-Newman in Greenville. Eagles have played mistake-free and showing up 28-0, and Tusculum only 5 yards of offense.
Well, that's the conversation that Mike Turner and the rest of the coaches are going to have with all the guys on the field. The only thing that can get Tusculum back into this game is by you shooting yourself in the foot. We've seen Nate Kraft a couple times this year have a snap slide through his hands. Well, if you're the coaching staff, just catch the ball. Even if you get the ball 10 yards down the field, that is much more successful than a blocked punt, a fumble, something that can turn things over for Tusculum. If CN continues to play clean, Tusculum offense has proven that they can't move the ball.
Kraft on the punt of the way to D. Alford. Snap is back. Kraft receives it, gets off the kick. Alford will come forward, catch it at the 25-yard line, and he will wiggle his way over the right hashes up to the 29-yard line. A flag on the play, back at the line of scrimmage, presumably offsides on Tusculum.
The only other thing that it could possibly be is if Carson-Newman didn't have enough men on the line of scrimmage. And they're looking at Tusculum's sideline, so you would think that maybe it is an infraction on CN that might add something here to the end of the return.
Offside, number 4 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Results.
How on earth? D. Alford is the guy that returned it. How on earth was he offside?
And that is another Tennessee State Bank.
All right.
Well, I mean, you know, when you're at your own 30-yard line, I mean, clearly, you know, you can be across the line of scrimmage in that situation. But, I mean, if you're Jerry Odom, I mean, I don't know if you've coached a game quite like this in your life where everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, penalties, statistics. Now, Carson-Newman, they only have one timeout left with 46.5 seconds left. You probably need, let's say, 20 yards to give Nate Kraft a really good chance because that wind at times is picking up and blowing in at the Eagles. But if you can time it up perfectly without the wind, obviously Kraft can convert from long range.
So the Eagles do get the first down with the 5-yard penalty. 1st and 10, Carson-Newman left hash at its own 46-yard line with a 28-0 lead in hand. Moving from right to left in all blue jerseys. Wimbush and Salisbury are the split backs behind Thackerson. Thackerson takes, fakes the dive, now pitches to Wimbush. Wimbush has the edge. He's across midfield, and he hustles out of bounds at the Pioneer 47-yard line, but a block in the back coming on Romaine Kelly.
Illegal block in the back, number 19 on the offense. 15-yard penalty remains first down.
And so back the Eagles up with 40.8 seconds left in the second quarter, leading 28-0. And right now, Carson-Newman just playing with house money. The Eagles credit Mike Turner. He smells blood in the water and wants to go for the throat here. Ball back to the 41-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 15 for Carson-Newman. Dackerson under center. Wimbush and Salisbury, the split backs behind him. Makarov tight end to the left. Dackerson takes. Trap to the left side, Wimbush. Wimbush hit between the hashes up at the 43-yard line. That's it for Antonio Wimbush, and Carson-Newman probably doesn't need to run another play unless it really is feeling frisky. But credit the Eagles. They have done the job here in the first half against the Pioneers, and in fact, Carson-Newman won't run another play. 28-0. Eagles leading at the halftime break. Michael Watrang, 297 yards of total offense for the Eagles. Pioneers, 5 yards of total offense, negative 24 yards rushing, and just 1 first down. That tells the story there with the Eagles taking a 28-0 lead into the locker room.
Yeah, defense has played extremely well. Carson-Newman's offense has been able to get everybody involved, run a variety of plays. If you're Carson-Newman, you feel really good about what you were able to accomplish out there in that opening half of football. And at the end of the day, for CN's offense, you got to keep doing what you're doing. You're 30 minutes away from sealing a playoff berth. Now what you want to do is give Tusculum no sign. That first drive of the second half going to be critical for Tusculum if they have any chance of getting back in the game.
28-0. Eagles lead it at the halftime break. The ShopCNEagles.com halftime report heads your way when we come back after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
Don't know what to wear on game day? Head over to ShopCNEagles.com for all of your Carson-Newman athletics gear. You can find clothing from Adidas, Columbia, Nike, and Under Armour to cover you from head to toe. ShopCNEagles.com also has duffel bags, backpacks, jewelry, pet supplies, and gifts. Don't waste any more time. Prove you are the ultimate Carson-Newman fan with official gear of the Eagles at ShopCNEagles.com. Visit today.
At the Kate Insurance Agency, our focus is you. At Kate Insurance, we're your local agents, real, live members of the community, only 2 blocks from Carson-Newman. We understand the importance of having the proper coverages for your vehicle, whether it be taking a drive through the Smoky Mountains or just driving around listening to your Eagles play. Our team at Kate Insurance can help you get the best coverages with the best companies at competitive prices. Call 865-475-3391 for a quote today, or visit KateInsuranceAgency.com. Touchdown, Carson-Newman!
More great Carson-Newman memories are headed your way in 60 seconds on the Eagles Sports Network.
First Baptist Academy in Powell seeks to assist parents by providing an excellent classical education that fosters a biblical worldview, striving to equip students to impact the world for Christ. Schedule a tour of FBA today by calling 947-8503 or visit the website at fbaeagles.org. Grades pre-K through 12th are available with an individualized teaching approach. Get your children into a discipleship model of education today with a family environment at First Baptist Academy Powell. Ask for more information and take a closer look at FBA soon. Call the office and set the appointment, 865-947-8503 or fbaeagles.org.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
AM 620, WRJZ Knoxville.
It's halftime on the Eagles Sports Network. Highlights, a check of the ShopCNEagles.com scoreboard, and stats are all headed your way.
Straight ahead! Touchdown, Carson-Newman!
Now, let's head back to the field. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier.
All right, back at Berktar Stadium, where Carson-Newman holds a 28-0 halftime lead over the Tusculum Pioneers. First half, all Carson-Newman. The Eagles outgained the Pioneers 297-5 in terms of total offense. Eagles with great balance, 182 yards on the ground. Tyler Thackerson, 5 of 10 through the air for 115 yards as the Eagles getting the job done against Tusculum. Game started inauspiciously. Both teams went 3 and out on their first 2 possessions. For Carson-Newman, that would be an aberration. For Tusculum, it would be a theme. Eagles, on their second drive, put together a 6-play, 70-yard possession, take 2:43 off the clock, and Braxton Westfield catches a 35-yard pass to get into the end zone on a post pattern over the middle of the field. We give Carson-Newman the 7-0 advantage 5 minutes and 55 seconds into the contest. Pioneers 3 and out, minus 9 yards their next drive. Eagles take over at their own 44. 8 plays, 56 yards later. Antonio Wimbush scampers into the end zone from 18 yards away on 4th and 2 to cap a 4-minute 38-second possession and give Carson-Newman a 14-0 lead after 1. Eagles weren't done there. Tusculum picked up their only first down of the half on their 3rd possession, moved the ball to midfield, but then had to punt. Cantrell pinned Carson-Newman at its own 9. Didn't matter. 10-play, 91-yard drive, 5:12 off the clock, and the Eagles dial up at a reverse to Devon Moore. He scores his first career rushing touchdown to give the Eagles a 21-0 lead. Pioneers 3 and out for the 3rd out of 4 times in the period. Their next drive, but Carson-Newman could only muster a first down and had to punt on their ensuing possession. Tusculum takes over at its own 15, and Joaquin Collazo throws a pick. Desmond Farrell gets the 19th of his career to set the Eagles up just outside their red zone. 2 plays later, Troy Dindy finds the end zone on a 22-yard dive play, 42 seconds off the clock, and the Eagles lead it 28-0 with 2:13 to play in the first half. Tusculum would go 3 and out one final time before Carson-Newman got the football with 1:19 left, but the Eagles get a first down on a penalty, but then wind down the final seconds after a play to Antonio Wimbush. That's where we stand at the halftime break. 28-0. Carson-Newman leads it over the Tusculum Pioneers. We'll look around the SAC and the Super Region. Michael Watrang has a ShopSeeingEagles.com SAC scoreboard update for you after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Everyone in my family uses electricity differently. But when it comes to our Touchstone Energy Cooperative, we all think about it the same way. The co-op is power. Sure, electricity turns the lights on, but power is the information I get from my co-op about efficiency, safety, technology, and I trust the co-op because we are the co-op.
They're our neighbors.
Our friends. Our home.
Powering the Eagles and Mossy Creek, we're your trusted energy partner.
Hi, this is Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. When you come to Carson-Newman for a game, there's only one place to eat, Lisa's Country Kitchen. Lisa's Country Kitchen has the best food for the best prices. I can tell you, after eating here for nearly 15 years, Lisa's is the most family-friendly restaurant in the Lakeway area. Stop by and tell Lisa I sent you, and go Eagles.
Lisa's Country Kitchen on Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
A check of the ShopSeeingEagles.com SAC scoreboard is next. This is the Eagles Sports Network.
Drive safer longer when you visit your local Michelin dealer, Fleet Tire, for a set of Michelin Defender tires. Michelin is the brand drivers turn to for tire options that deliver a safe, quiet, and comfortable ride. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue, exit 1B, Knoxville. Based on internal wet braking results versus Goodyear, Assurance, Comfort Tread tires, and third-party wear test results versus Continental ProTrack tires with Eco Plus. See manufacturer's limited warranty book for details. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue.
Nana, we can leave in a second. I need to pay a bill first.
Well, don't you need to write a check?
A check? No way. This is how we pay bills now, with our phone. And it's paid.
A lot has changed since Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union started 85 years ago. Whether you write checks or use tools like mobile check deposit or send money, we're helping you do more. Visit tvacreditunion.com to learn more. Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, moving together through life, upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Ask for details.
The Eagles Sports Network is a part of SAC Live. the official digital network of the South Atlantic Conference. SAC Live is the home of all your South Atlantic Conference sports action. Time to get caught up with some SACtion. Here are the happenings around the South Atlantic Conference and the nation. Let's go around the league with the ShopSeeingEagles.com scoreboard update. Now, back to the field.
Back at Berktar Stadium, Carson-Newman leading Tusculum 28-0 at halftime. Carson-Newman ahead by 4 scores here at the break. And elsewhere around the rest of the conference, one game that we're heavily looking at, and so far it's a surprise. Mars Hill is beating Wingate 22-9 with under a half a minute to go in the first half. Wingate does have the ball inside of the red zone, and they just scored. Shaw Crocker completes a pass to Mason Flint for 14 yards with 9 seconds to go in the first half. They've cut the deficit now down to just 7 in the game. A lot of yards being racked up. 281 for Wingate, 274 for Mars Hill. So a huge offensive effort between these two sides. Jimmy Urzua, 270 yards through the air in the contest, despite the fact that the team has rushed for a grand total of 4 yards. Gilbert Johnson leads the way in terms of receiving 129 yards and a touchdown. Craig Rucker doing his thing as usual. 7 catches, 92 yards in the game. On track for another one of those monster efforts. Dominique McNeil, 7 carries for $111 and a score, including an 83-yard romp for the Bulldogs in the game. They've tacked on the extra point, so it's a 6-point game. Closing in on halftime, I assume, barring a long kickoff return for a score. That will be your score at the break between Wingate and Mars Hill. That one up in the mountains up near Asheville. Mars Hill with the lead. Lions looking for a winning season. Wingate looking for a double-digit win season on their side. Well, that game's close. The team that won the regular season this year will solidify that spot. It was 28-3 when we were looking earlier. Lenore Ryan leading against Catawba in that contest, and great folks over at Catawba, their statistics taking here a few seconds for that to load, so I assume that it's still LR ahead by 1,000 in that game against the Indians, and Lenore Ryan dominant. That was the early game. That was at noon earlier here today in that contest. UVA Wise and UNCP taking action. That game's at UNCP. Oh, here we go. Now the stats decided to work. How about Catawba? A grand total of 133 yards of total offense. They're getting absolutely bamboozled in this one. 49-3 is the score in favor of Lenore Ryan. They scored 21 points in the second quarter. Amin Stevens has a rushing score in the game, one of 5 Bears, with rushing touchdowns in the game. Carter has one, Stewart has one, Luttrell has one, and everybody spreading the wealth for Lenore Ryan in the game. Grayson Willingham has thrown for 2 scores and 129 yards. UNCP leading UVA Wise 14-0. That game is at the break. Josh Jones has thrown for a score. Josh Sheridan has added a rushing touchdown with 67 yards, and it is the Braves of UNC Pembroke ahead at home by a 14-0 tally. The other game to update you on from around the rest of the South Atlantic Conference, that's Newberry and Limestone, and that game taking place over at the Graveyard. Newberry and Limestone are deadlocked. I expected maybe that game to be a little bit more higher scoring, but so far 7-7 at halftime. Newberry 157 yards of total offense in the contest. Chance Walker has rushed 87 yards on 13 carries so far. Colton Bailey has thrown a touchdown pass, that coming to the great Bobby Irby, who has a pair of catches for 13 yards in the game. On the other side, DJ Phillips, 6 of 11 through the air for 23 yards. The conference's leading rusher is averaging just 2 yards per carry this year, or in this contest. 16 carries, 35 yards, but Patton has found the end zone for Limestone. So that's what's going on around the rest of the league, around the rest of Super Region 2, as we try to solidify spots from around the rest of the region and what's going to happen there. Games to come up later today. 3 o'clock kickoffs in the SEAC and the CIAA championship games Albany State. Some Carson-Newman ties there on the coaching staff against Miles in the SEAC title game, and then Bowie State and Fayetteville State in the CIAA title contest. That one being played at 3 p.m. Gulf South action to update you on here today. That first game of the day, Shorter at Florida Tech, means a whole bunch of nothing. Shorter and Florida Tech not in the playoff battle whatsoever. A game that just started down in Clinton, Mississippi. It's Delta State against Mississippi College taking flight. And that game, 2 o'clock kickoff. And according to what I'm looking at here, senior day festivities and don't have any live stats so far, so either that game hasn't kicked off or some internet issues down there in Mississippi. Later today, West Alabama, West Florida, 4 o'clock's the kickoff. West Florida sneaking below Carson-Newman thanks to Carson-Newman's win over the Argos in the beginning of the season. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff from the beautiful site down there at Bayfront Stadium in Pensacola, West Al and West Florida. And then concluding the night in the Gulf South, it's the best team in the region and the best team in the country if you rely upon what voters have to say. Valdosta State is on the road in Carrollton, Georgia against West Georgia for a 6 p.m. kickoff in that game. Here at Berktar Stadium, it's 28-0. Carson-Newman on top of Tusculum. Here at the break, when we come back, we'll tell you how things are going around the rest of Mossy Creek, set the stage for what's going on around here, and give you all the updates here as we step out for a breather. Carson-Newman ahead by 4 scores at the break here on the Eagle Sports Network.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser focused on your success. Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, Magaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Magaha Electric specializes in commercial, retail, manufacturing, residential, and industrial contracting needs. Magaha Electric can provide superior service, technical know-how, and realistic budgeting for any size project in a timely, cost-effective manner. Visit MagahaElectric.com for all your electrical contracting needs. Magaha Electric, your East Tennessee electrical contracting source.
Derek Evans, 79 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
You found the home of Carson-Newman football on the Eagles Sports Network.
First Baptist Academy in Powell seeks to assist parents by providing an excellent classical education that fosters a biblical worldview, striving to equip students to impact the world for Christ. Schedule a tour of FBA today by calling 947-8503 or visit the website at fbaeagles.org. Grades pre-K through 12th are available with an individualized teaching approach. Get your children into a discipleship model of education today with a family environment at First Baptist Academy Powell. Ask for more information and take a closer look at FBA soon. Call the office and set the appointment, 865-947-8503 or fbaeagles.org.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
Halftime at Berktar Stadium, where Carson-Newman leads Tusculum by a 28-0 tally. It's been all CN from the word go in this contest, and the Eagles taking care of business here on their home field on Senior Day, final regular season home game of the year. There are some ways where CN could potentially find a way to get another home game the rest of the way this year, but certainly could use some help in that regard to potentially get back here. But it's just a beautiful day outside, perfect fall weather, sight lines for as far as the eye can see, at Carson-Newman in full control here in this contest. Elsewhere around Mossy Creek here on this Saturday afternoon, Carson-Newman swim has wrapped up, And we'll have a full recap for you on seeandeagles.com here coming up later here in the afternoon. Elsewhere around Mossy Creek, Carson-Newman women's basketball is in action. There, a 3 o'clock tip-off. Mark Mausner about ready to hit the airwaves up in Bristol as he takes Carson-Newman's women's basketball contest. Lady Eagles looking to begin the year at 4-0 after a 111-82 throttling of King on Wednesday night. Kayla Marisites 27 points, 22 rebounds, 9 assists in the ball game, first 2020 game in CN history. And now Carson-Newman is taking on a team in the regular season in back-to-back games for just the third time in the history of the program and first time since the 80s up there. Let's see if the Lady Eagles offense can keep rolling in that one here later today, or if King is able to slow CN down at all in that contest. So Carson-Newman women's basketball in action. Tip-off starts at 3 o'clock up in Bristol. It's Carson-Newman and King. Elsewhere around Mossy Creek, the regular season wraps up for Carson-Newman volleyball. 6 o'clock is first serve from Salisbury as Carson-Newman takes on the Catawba College Catawba Indians. Carson-Newman swept Catawba back on October 5th, and the Eagles are trying to bounce back. They were swept for just the second time all year last night by the narrowest of margins. It was just a 6-point difference in 3 sets. CN swept by Queens, a Queens team that has risen to one of the top teams in the region as well. And CN will get the Royals coming up here later today. We'll get the Indians rather later today at 6 o'clock. Carson-Newman men's basketball is back in action Monday night, 7 o'clock. They have 2 games in 3 days. It's Tennessee Wesleyan Monday, Southern Wesleyan on Wednesday night in those contests. So Carson-Newman, plenty to go on around the rest of campus. We'll find out about some postseason berths tomorrow. That'll be the big thing. If everybody lock in around 5 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have all of the activities selection show for Carson-Newman football will be at 5 o'clock tomorrow on NCAA.com. All the links for you on @CN Athletics on Twitter, and we'll have full reaction from the KSAC tomorrow evening, as well as how everything shakes out for Carson-Newman coming up here later tomorrow. So that's how things shape up for the rest of the weekend. Carson-Newman and Tusculum are at the break. They're back out on the field getting ready to lock and load on what is Veterans Appreciation Day here on the final game of the regular season. Tons of American flags, the helicopter back into the right on the practice field, and that's how we stand right now at halftime. 28-0's the score at the break, and CN will be kicking off to start the second half. We'll have that play-by-play coming up for you next here on the Eagle Sports Network.
We select our insurance companies the same way you do, very carefully. When you work with us, you can count on receiving fast, courteous, and professional service and quality protection through Auto Owners Insurance. For a no-problem approach for your life, home, car, and business insurance needs, ask us about the No Problem Company. Auto Owners Insurance. Call Bible Insurance Agency at 423-586-4320 or go by 1600 East Andrew Johnson Highway in Morristown, serving the Lakeway area's insurance needs since 1931.
Domino's Pizza in Jefferson City has deals for Carson-Newman students. Bring in your valid student ID when you order for pickup or delivery, and Domino's in Jefferson City will give you a steaming hot large one-topping pizza for $4.99. That's a large one-topping pizza for Carson-Newman students for $4.99 at Domino's in Jeff City. Call 865-471-6700 to order. That's 865-471-6700. Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles.
The home run hitter to Dorian Miller, 70 yards.
This is Carson-Newman football on the Eagles Sports Network.
Drive safer longer when you visit your local Michelin dealer, Fleet Tire, for a set of Michelin Defender tires. Michelin is the brand drivers turn to for tire options that deliver a safe, quiet, and comfortable ride. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue, exit 1B, Knoxville. Based on internal wet braking results versus Goodyear, Assurance, Comfort Tread tires, and third-party wear test results versus Continental ProTrack tires with Eco Plus. See manufacturer's limited warranty book for details. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue.
Nana, we can leave in a second. I need to pay a bill first.
Well, don't you need to write a check?
A check? No way. This is how we pay bills now, with our phone. And it's paid.
A lot has changed since Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union started 85 years ago. Whether you write checks or use tools like mobile check deposit or send money, we're helping you do more. TBACreditUnion.com to learn more. Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union, moving together through life, upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Ask for details.
Back at Berktar Stadium, Adam Cavalier, Michael Watrang, happy to have you alongside. Brandon Roberts, our spotter here in the booth. Leanda Carey down on the sidelines, and we send it down to Leanda, who has Mike Turner's first half thoughts. Leanda, take it away.
Thanks, Adam. At halftime, Turner had nothing but glowing reviews for his Eagles. He said their attitude, their strong start. He said he appreciates the way they're playing both sides of the ball, aggressive, smart, taking care of the ball, avoiding penalties, and, of course, taking the ball when needed. He also said in the second half, all that's left to do is to finish. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leanda. Certainly Michael Watrang finishing. Yeah, that's it. Eagles' dominant effort, 28-0 after the first half. Just 5 yards of total offense for the Eagles. Your keys, or for the Pioneers, pardon me. Your keys to the second half.
Well, the biggest thing for CN, no mistakes. Don't make any kind of penalties, turnovers, any kind of self-inflicted wounds, because really right now Tusculum has 30 minutes left in its season. Carson-Newman is just looking at that clock at this juncture in the game, and that's all that they have to worry about the rest of the way. And the only thing that can get Tusculum back into this contest is CN to make some mistakes to allow Tusculum to get back in the game.
Wilkins and Chavis Williams deep to receive this kick. Nate Kraft has the wind at his back. He had a trio of touchdowns in the first quarter when kicking off this direction. And he sends this one past the A and Eagles in the end zone for his fourth touchback of the day. Pioneers take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line, and the Pioneer offense looking for something, anything, right here.
Well, they gave Bryce Moore the ball at the end of the first half. Looks like Colazzo's back on the field. And I'm sure Tusculum has had conversations probably every day this season talking about what are we going to do at quarterback next year. Boy, do they need one, because the guys we've seen today and throughout this season are not good enough for this league.
Joaquin Colazzo is in the pistol. Wilkins is behind him, H-back to the right. Snap back, handoff, Wilkins right side on the stretch play. He's got a decent positive gain. He's across the 25 and buckled down by Christian Jones. In the boundary right side up at the 28-yard line. 3-yard tote, 2nd down and 7 to go on one of the few positive rushes for the Pioneers on the day.
Yeah, hasn't happened a whole bunch today. Well, Tusculum's offense has been so predictable. In order to get back into the game, they can't do what they just did. Run the ball, get to the huddle, take 20 seconds off the play clock. They got to go a little bit quicker here.
28-0 Eagles leading, 30 seconds into the third quarter. Colazzo out of the gun. Brings Moss in motion to the right. Now takes the snap at the chest. 5-man rush. Steps up in the pocket. Races out to the right. Colazzo will shuffle out of bounds across the 30, up at the 32-yard line. DeMarcus Jones was trying to make a spectacular play but didn't quite have the angle on him. And Colazzo shakes his way past him for a 4-yard rush up to the 32-yard line. That matches the long rush of the day for the Pioneers. 3rd and 3 for Tusculum. Pioneers 0 for 5 on third downs against the country's 15th best third down defense.
Carson-Newman's defense has been so successful because it has been a little longer situations. Playbook's wide open here on 3rd and short.
Pioneers go with a 4-wide set, 2 each way. Wide side is to the left as Colazzo's in the gun with Wilkins to his right. 3rd and 3 for the Pioneers, right hash at their own 32. Eagles show blitz, and they bring it. Colazzo steps up in the pocket, throws it out to the right side. That's complete to a man out of the backfield, Chameleon, and he picks up the first down at the 38 and then moves across the 40 and wrangled down up at the 43-yard line. An 11-yard gain. It's the second longest play of the day for the Pioneers. They move the chains. Second first down of the contest for Tusculum. And that's with 13:26 to go in the third quarter. Eagles leading 28-0 to let you know how the Pioneers' day is gone.
Well, Carson-Newman will allow those underneath routes. If you just run a guy out to the flat, CN will gladly accept that and rally defensively.
1st and 10 Pioneers, right hash at their own 43-yard line. Colazzo out of the gun, hands off, stretch play, left side, Wilkins. Wilkins run down in the alleyway, and he's hit for no gain by Jamarian McDonald and Jaquan Smith in the boundary left side at the 43. No gain, 2nd and 10. Eagles, great job shuffling out there on the stretch play.
Yeah, very nice job. And Tusculum really struggling running the football all day long here today, doing a really, really excellent job throughout this game, taking care of business on the ground attack, and you got to credit the front four throughout the day. They've shuffled a lot of bodies in, and they've done the job.
This is a Tusculum team that has won 4 straight games, fourth longest winning streak in the region. They were averaging 250 yards per game on the ground during that streak, minus 15 on the day. 2nd and 10, Collazo out of the gun. He's back to pass, throws over the middle of the field. He chucks it behind his wide receiver, A.J. Bellinger, incomplete down at the Carson-Newman 40-yard line. Bellinger was in double coverage between Jaquan Smith and DeMarcus Jones, and Collazo yanked it behind him. 3rd and 10 for the Pioneers.
Well, that's where, as a quarterback, you got to work through your progressions. Nobody was open over the middle of the field. He had Jacob Moss in the flat to the right-hand side. He picks him out. It's a good game up near the sticks. Instead, tries to fit it into a tight window.
3rd down, 10 to go for the Pioneers. Left hash at their own 43-yard line. 28-0 Eagles leading, 12-18 to play in the 3rd quarter. 3 wide receivers split to the wide side right, 1 short side left. Collazo out of the gun, takes the snap, steps up in the pocket. He's hit as he throws from behind. It's a jump ball to the right side, and that is intercepted. Intended for Jacob Moss, but Bernard Scott steps in front, picks it off, and now they wave off the pick. Incomplete. A flag on the play. Back at the Carson-Newman 45-yard line on the opposite side of the play, probably in the neighborhood of defensive holding.
I think it's going to go on Rondro Peebles, who had nothing to do with the play and had no reason to do what he just did.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Holding, number 24 on the defense against an eligible receiver. 10-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
So after the Eagles had the Pioneers stopped on 3rd down, regardless of whether it was a pick or just a PBU, Rondro Peebles gives the Pioneers second life, and Tusculum is into Carson-Newman territory for the first time today. Pioneers have it 1st and 10 at the Carson-Newman 47, trailing 28-0 with 12-12 to play in the 3rd quarter. I formation for Collazo. Takes the snap, hands off Gamillion right side, tries to find a cutback lane, wiggles through it, but then he runs into Nick Owens' grasp, and he slings him down between the hashes down at the Carson-Newman 43-yard line. Gain of 4 for Maurice Gamillion, 2nd and 6. 11:55 to play 3rd quarter, 28-0. Carson-Newman leading Tusculum. Pioneers break the huddle. Collazo in the pistol with Gamillion now off to his right in a shotgun formation. Trips go to the wide side left. 2nd and 6 for the Pioneers. Snap back to Collazo. He's blitzed from behind. Collazo slings it to the right side. That's complete to Ponder. And Ponder gets yanked down from behind by Desmond Farrell, who claps his hands in frustration. Farrell a half-second late getting there for a potential interception. The Pioneers move the chains with the completion down to the 35-yard line, an 8-yard gain.
Farrell also went and tried to go over the top of the receiver rather than around, but it was a very nice throw by Collazo right between the numbers for a pitch and catch and a 1st down.
11:08 to play 3rd quarter, 28-0, Carson-Newman leading. Pioneers go to the I formation, 1st and 10 from the Carson-Newman 35-yard line. The I back now motions to a tight end slot to the left. Collazo takes, play fake to Gamillion. Back to pass, throws over the middle of the field, wide open, Ponder in the end zone. He's got it over the right hashes, touchdown Pioneers. Collazo dials up a beautiful play-action pass to Ponder from 35 yards out. And the Pioneers did what they need to do on their opening possession. They strike with a 35-yard score from Collazo to Ponder. Pioneers on the board, trailing 28-6, 10:47 to play in the 3rd.
Well, every team has to do that at any level. You have to be able to be willing to take risks to throw the ball down the field. Well, that's exactly what they did. Huge, and I mean a colossal collapse by Carson-Newman's defensive backfield. They sold out to the short routes.
Snap is back, the hold is down, and Shepard will shank it wide to the right. So still a 28-6 game for Carson-Newman to lead the Pioneers with 10:47 to play in the 3rd quarter. We return to Berktar Stadium after these messages. This is the Eagle Sports Network.
First Baptist Academy in Powell seeks to assist parents by providing an excellent classical education that fosters a biblical worldview, striving to equip students to impact the world for Christ. Schedule a tour of FBA today by calling 947-8503 or visit the website at fbaeagles.org. Grades pre-K through 12th are available with an individualized teaching approach. Get your children into a discipleship model of education today with a family environment at First Baptist Academy Powell. Ask for more information and take a closer look at FBA soon. Call the office and set the appointment, 865-947-8503 or fbaeagles.org.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
Back at Berktar Stadium, where Carson-Newman has a 28-6 lead on the Tusculum Pioneers with 10:47 to play in the third quarter. Pioneers, their opening possession, an 8-play, 75-yard drive, 4:13 off the clock. And Joaquin Collazo dials up Ponder on a 35-yard score to get Tusculum on the board for the first time. Pioneers did a good chunk of that through the air, Michael Watron.
Yeah, they did, and finally we see some signs of life from Joaquin Collazo and this team, but Carson-Newman shoots itself in the foot. That's exactly what I talked about coming out of break. You can ill afford to keep a team around by making your own mistakes in this contest.
Hey, Eagle fans, check out Carson-Newman Athletics' official online store at shopseeandeagles.com. Shopseeandeagles.com features more than 1,100 products, from T-shirts and polos to phone skins and pet collars. Shopseeandeagles.com, it's the official online store of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Alan Andruski is on to kick off. The Eagles have Marcus Williams deep to receive at the 5. But this will be a pooch kick that Jacob Reese reaches up and grabs at the 35-yard line. Reese running right, stiff arms his way through one body, and then he gets hit and driven to the ground at the 32-yard line. Some pushing and shoving after the fact, and a late shove from the Pioneers that does not result in a flag from Trey Trawick, who was pushing and shoving against Braxton Dockery, who had his hands in the air. Did not throw a flag in that situation. 1st and 10, Eagles take over at their own 32-yard line. This is a shout-out to all the tailgaters. While we may not all agree on the best game day foods, when you serve your meals with an ice cold Coca-Cola, you know you've got yourself a winner. Coke, taste the feeling. Eagles with one man in the backfield and 2 tight ends as Thackerson takes. Gives on the dive up the middle to Antonio Wimbush. Wimbush spurting free, breaks a tackle across midfield. Wimbush in a foot race across the 30 and 20. Wimbush 15 and 10. Wimbush diving across the 5, and he's run down by D. Alford down at the 2-yard line. Antonio Wimbush has his 16th career 100-yard day thanks to that carry down to the 1. 66 yards for Wimbush. 1st and goal, Eagles.
Well, it's great blocking on the right side of the offensive line. It's Fain. It's Jordan Seal paving the way. Fain came back, got a nice block that sprung things, but D. Alford's one of the best defensive backs in this league, able to track him down. 1st and goal, Eagles from the 1. Thackerson takes, quarterback sneak. He gets the push from behind, and Thackerson is in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Eagles counter in the perfect way. A 66-yard rush for Antonio Wimbush, and then Thackerson caps the drive with a 1-yard quarterback sneak. 34-6, Eagles lead it. 10:17 to play in the third quarter. Well, that's a great answer there by Carson-Newman, because Tusculum was probably thinking to itself, hey, we figured something out here offensively. Let's see if we can go down, track things down, and knock it in. But Carson-Newman comes out, 2 punches, and boom, they're right back on top.
Kraft on for the point after attempt. Campbell's snap is back. Udy's hold is down, and Kraft's kick is off the front face of the Ken Sparks Athletic Complex. 35-6, Eagles lead it. Wimbush sets up Thackerson for the 1-yard dunk. And the Eagles stretch the lead back to 4 touchdowns. We return to Berktar Stadium after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
I get my power from my co-op so I can put my energy into my family.
Into waking up the neighborhood. Latte for Christine.
I get my power from the co-op so I can put my energy into planting seeds for a brighter future.
Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, power to your community, for your community, so your energy can go into the things that matter most to you.
My 69 Camaro.
Who powers you?
AEC, the right call for your energy needs. Let us help you score success.
Okay, let's see. Carson-Newman University. It's been around since 1851. A beautiful campus, amazing student life, world-class accredited academics, competitive athletic programs, a Christian perspective, a top 10 best value school. They give $48 million in financial aid every year, and I get a free scholarship when I enroll. Looks like I've found the perfect place.
Antonio Wimbush, for the 4th time in his career, has a 100-yard rushing performance against the Tusculum Pioneers. A 67-yard dive play to Wimbo sets up Tyler Thackerson's 1-yard touchdown run, and the Eagles counter Ponder's 35-yard TD grab with a 2-play, 68-yard drive that takes just 23 seconds off the clock. Wimbush, 11 carries for 134 yards, 16 career 100-yard rushing performances for the senior tailback for Carson-Newman. Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, McGaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Visit McGahaElectric.com for all your electrical contracting needs. McGaha Electric, they are your East Tennessee electrical contracting source. Nate Kraft has it teed up toward the right hash. He'll kick off from left to right to Williams and Wilkins. With the wind in his back, every kick to this side of the field has been a touchback. And Wilkins is going to bring this one out from 5 yards deep in the end zone. He breaks a tackle at the 15, gets hit at the 20. He's hemmed in along the right sideline, and Wilkins overwhelmed up at the 21-yard line. Credit Thurlow Wilkins for just trying to make something happen. He had 2 returns prior to that one that traveled 34-plus yards, including a 40-yarder. But this one, 7 yards deep in the end zone, only gets 21 yards. Tusculum takes over 1st and 10 from its own 21-yard line. 10-17 to play in the third quarter, trailing 35-6.
Pioneers just put together an 8-play, 75-yard drive. That was by far their longest effort of the day in both categories. And let's see if Carson-Newman's defense makes some adjustments, makes some changes, and is able to handle what Tusculum was able to do at halftime.
Tusculum had 12 times the total offense on that possession as it had in the first half. Collazo out of the pistol on 1st and 10 from his own 21. Turns and hands off to Wilkins' right side. Has a cutback lane, but not much else. Gets up over the right hashes to the 23-yard line before he's finished off by Rondro Peebles, Christian Jones, and Nick Owens. A 3-yard gain up to the 24, 2nd and 7.
Well, good job by Christian Jones. He was right in the hole, was able to break down. Converted offensive lineman. It's just a true freshman able to make the play.
2nd down, 7 to go for the Pioneers, trailing 35-6, 9:43 to play, third quarter. Collazo in the pistol. Now he moves Wilkins over to his right hip, shotgun look. Trips go to the wide side left, bunched up tight to the line. Snap back to Collazo, stands in the pocket, throws the deep ball to the left sideline for Davis, incomplete at midfield. Had receivable position and a step on Jaquan Smith over the top, but Collazo led him too far to the left sideline, and the ball falls for an incompletion. 3rd down, 7 to go for the Pioneers from their own 24.
Well, it's probably the 4th or 5th time Tusculum's run a very similar play. Trips to one side of the field, short flat route, 10-yard out route, 15-yard corner pattern. This time they were able to sneak in between a couple defensive backs, look for a wide-open receiver, but not a very accurate throw by Collazo.
Pioneers, 3rd and 7, left or right hash, at their own 24. Collazo out of the gun, takes the snap, stands in the pocket. He's hit. He loses the football. It's free and picked up by Carson-Newman. Wyclef Fenor comes up with the pigskin, grabs it and hits the deck at the 20. Not sure who stripped Collazo, but it turns him over, and the Eagles have it 1st and 10 at the Pioneer 20.
Well, that ball was sitting there for what seemed like forever. If you're both sides, it was just sitting right on the middle of the football field. But the Eagles able to apply pressure on Collazo as he stepped up in the pocket. Looked like the left hand of Peebles or either DeMarcus Jones. Still tough to see which one of those two was able to get it. DeMarcus Jones raised his hand. Might have been him, but Fenor came in late. He had eyes to scoop and score. But fortunately, the Eagles able to secure the football and force another turnover.
1st and 10 Eagles, left hash at the Pioneer 20. Wimbush, the lone man in the backfield with 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts split to the wide side right. Thackerson takes, gives the dive to Wimbush. Wimbush a hop, skip, and a jump inside the 20. Moves between the hashes down to the 16 before Hogan's brings him down. 4 yards, 2nd and 6. Vaughn Green also in on the stop. 2nd down. 7 to go for Carson-Newman. Spot actually the 17, not the 16. 35-6, Eagles leading, 8:52 to play in the third quarter. Carson-Newman looking to take advantage of the fumble recovery. Thackerson takes one man in the backfield, pulls it out, keeps it right side, gets hit in the boundary right side at the 15, and he moves forward down to the 13. Cothran upends him at the kneecaps. 4-yard gain, 3rd down, and a short 3 to go for the Eagles. They need the 10.
Well, whoever Carson-Newman plays in the playoffs, they are going to have their work cut out for them in the film room. Eagles showing a lot of different plays. Seen the reverse. That time they run the option with the slot receiver, Dendy.
3rd and 2 for the Eagles. Now they go back to the split backs, Dendy and Wimbush. 2 tight end look, Westfield in motion to the left, and Jerry Odom quickly calling for time.
Tusculum, their first timeout in the second half.
So the Pioneers with a mountain to overcome, trailing by 29, now with one less timeout to work with. 8:09 to play in the third quarter. Eagles leading 35-6. InterDigital strives to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services. InterDigital, they are laser-focused on your success. Let's look around the super region. Certainly the biggest game of interest, and I really don't think this will impact things much, purely because Wingate has a head-to-head win on Carson-Newman, and even if they lose to Mars Hill, probably stay in front of the Eagles. But the Bulldogs have gone ahead 29-22 against the Lions, 11:21 to play in the third quarter. That is 20 unanswered for the Bulldogs after Mars Hill took a 22-9 lead in that contest. Here at Berktar Stadium, it's a 35-6 advantage for the Eagles. CN faces 3rd and 3 after the fumble by Tusculum, and they're at the Pioneer 13 toward the right hash. Dindy and Wimbush, the split backs, 2 tight ends. Thackerson takes, fakes the dive, option keeper right side. He keeps it. Thackerson races across the 5, and Thackerson races to the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Second rushing touchdown of the day for Tyler Thackerson. He calls his own number on the option keeper, and the Eagles are up 41-6 with 8:03 to play in the third quarter. 13 yards on the rushing touchdown for Tyler Thackerson.
Well, earlier in the game, Tusculum was doing a great job against Carson-Newman's option attack, but things have really, really fallen apart here for the Pioneers. CN now nearly 400 yards of total offense compared to just 69 from Tusculum.
Snap is back. Udy's hold is down. And Kraft's kick is through. A 3-play, 20-yard drive. A minute 14 off the clock, and Thackerson caps it with the 13-yard option keeper. 42-6, Eagles steamrolling the Pioneers on Senior Day, looking for a 26th trip to the postseason. We're back to Berktar Stadium after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
Drive safer longer when you visit your local Michelin dealer, Fleet Tire, for a set of Michelin Defender tires. Michelin is the brand drivers turn to for tire options that deliver a safe, quiet, and comfortable ride. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue, exit 1B, Knoxville. Based on internal wet braking results versus Goodyear, Assurance, Comfort Shred tires, and third-party wear test results versus Continental ProTrack tires with Eco Plus. See manufacturer's limited warranty book for details. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue.
Nana, we can leave in a second. I need to pay a bill first.
Well, don't you need to write a check?
A check? No way. This is how we pay bills now, with our phone. And it's paid.
A lot has changed since Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union started 85 years ago. Whether you write checks or use tools like mobile check deposit or send money, we're helping you do more. Visit tbacreditunion.com to learn more. Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union, moving together through life, upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Ask for details.
AM 620 WRJZ Knoxville.
Shades of 2015 here at Berktar Stadium, but with a little less drama. That year, Carson-Newman needed a win over Tusculum in the regular season finale here at Berktar to make the playoffs. Eagles got one with a 62-30 or 66-32 win over the Pioneers that featured 36 unanswered points for the Eagles from the third quarter on. This one, it's just been all Carson-Newman. Eagles up 42-6 as Kraft puts the kickoff into the end zone. 8:03 to play in the third quarter. Tusculum takes over at its own 25-yard line, trailing 42-6. Eagles, 385 yards of total offense to 69 for the Pioneers, negative 14 yards rushing for the Tusculum Pioneers. Michael Watrang, exactly the performance you wanted out of Carson-Newman with a playoff berth on the line.
Well, sometimes you have teams that limp into the playoffs, struggle to getting into the playoffs. Well, Carson-Newman is surging at the right time. Confidence at an all-time high. And CN will be in the playoffs next week on the road, more than likely, and it'll be interesting to see how they're able to carry this over.
First and 10 Pioneers, middle of the field at their own 25-yard line. Colazzo out of the gun. He fumbles the exchange with his running back. Nick Owens squirting in there to try to make a beat on it, but Colazzo able to recover it. A loss of 5 for the Pioneers, and when it rains, it pours.
Well, Colazzo really struggling here in this ball game. He's a redshirt freshman from Melbourne, Florida. And, boy, he has not looked very solid. And we knew it. Tusculum's quarterbacks have not been very good this year whatsoever.
Second and 15 for the Pioneers toward the middle of the field at their own 20. Colazzo out of the gun, 3 wide set. Wilkins off to the right. Snap back to Colazzo at the waist, 4-man rush. Colazzo steps up in the pocket, zings it over the middle of the field, incomplete at the 40, overthrew A.J. Bellinger, but also tossed it behind Desmond Farrell in Carson-Newman's defensive backfield for the incompletion. Third down, 15 to go for the Pioneers. Tusculum 1 for 7 on third down so far today.
Well, I know it's not a good throw when you don't know who the ball was intended for in that situation. And Colazzo, he had that one really good drive to start the second half. Other than that, been errant all day.
Third down, 15 to go for the Pioneers toward the right hash at their own 20. Colazzo out of the gun, takes the shotgun snap at the waist, 4-man rush. He throws over the middle of the field, and that is bobbled and incomplete. Desmond Arthur, the intended target. He was going to be short of the sticks anyway, even if the 5'11 sophomore from Rockledge, Florida, had hauled it in. And the Pioneers go 3 and out for the 5th time today.
Well, you look at the drive chart for Tusculum in this game. Boy, it is very ugly. You take out that 75-yard drive, and there is nothing that Carson-Newman's defense has done wrong.
You take out the 75-yard drive as the Eagles come free, nearly might have gotten a piece of this punt. They do. So Zach Talley able to get a piece of the Cantrell punt, and that is the 6th punt that Tusculum has had blocked this season. Eagles will take over after it's down at the Pioneer 49-yard line. Wasn't a clean block, but Tusculum has had issues in their punting game all day, all season long. 3rd from the bottom in the country in punts blocked. And the Eagles get a piece of one there. It's Talley who taps it for Carson-Newman, and the Eagles take over at the Pioneer 49 with a 42-6 lead in hand.
Well, not only that, but they missed a PAT as well. Let's not forget about that. It has been an ugly day in the kicking game, other than the return game.
Jackson and Williams with a split back. Thackerson gives on a dive left of center to Jackson, and he snows his way under down to the Tusculum 47-yard line, just outside the left hashes for a 2-yard gain. Ran into the thick of that Pioneer defensive line led by Solomon Hunter and Javon Green. Second down, 8 to go for the Eagles.
Well, Carson-Newman's drive chart on the other side, 6 touchdowns, 2 punts, and, of course, that drive right before halftime in which they ran a couple plays and let the clock run out.
None too shabby when you can score on 67% of your offensive possessions. 2nd and 8 for the Eagles. Kelly in motion to the short side left. Thackerson takes, rolls the pocket right. Looking to throw. Thackerson pressured. He'll throw it to the right sideline. Incomplete and out of bounds at the 20. Westfield slipped and fell in front of D. Alford. And wasn't going to be a completion anyway. Thackerson pressured pretty mightily. Flush from the pocket, couldn't complete it. 3rd and 8 for the Eagles from the Pioneer 47.
Well, you're trying to run an out and up when Alford's giving Westfield 10 yards down the field, and Alford was never confused. And Thackerson saw that, tried to go back shoulder if anything, just kind of threw the ball out of bounds, lived to fight another day on 3rd and intermediate.
3rd and 8 for the Eagles, just on top of the midfield logo from the Pioneer 47-yard line. And the Eagles moved early. The left side of Carson-Newman's line was 5 yards downfield when the ball was
Ball
snapped.
starts, number 75 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
So back it up 5 yards into Carson-Newman territory at the 48. 3rd down and 13 to go for the Eagles after Dylan Wilson gets called for the false start. 6:20 to play. 3rd quarter, 42-6, Eagles leading. Split backs for Carson-Newman. Behind Tyler Thackerson, 3 wide set. Westfield and Kelly to the wide side right. Waters to the short side left. Jackson and Williams, the split backs behind Thackerson. He takes, gives to Williams on the dive. Williams spun around as he crosses midfield, and he surges over the left hashes down to the Tusculum 47 before Couthan wraps him up. 5 yards for Marcus Williams, but on 3rd and 12.
Timeout for an injury.
The Eagles will be forced to punt, and a Pioneer shaken up on the play. So a Pioneer injured. And can't quite get a look at the number for Tusculum. The second numeral is 8.
Devin Woodson, 6'1", 270, a senior. He's down on the field, and luckily it looks like he's going to be able to walk off under his own power here. Might have just got twisted up in that pile.
So Woodson will walk off the field under his own power, and in spite of a short field after the tipped punt, the Eagles can't get anything going after the penalty. Eagles go 3 and out for the second time today, and will try to pin Tusculum deep, leading 42-6 with 6:05 to play in the 3rd quarter. 4th down and 8 to go. Kraft on the punt. He'll be aiming for D. Alford, who's along the right hashes at his own 10. Eagles send some wide receivers out there and set up the wedge. Snap comes back to Kraft. He receives it, gets his right leg into it, angling it to the left sideline. Gorgeous kick, lands out of bounds at the 6-yard line. And we'll see where the officials mark it out. That official strides forward 5 yards up to the 11. 3rd punt that Kraft has kicked that has pinned the Pioneers inside their own 15. Tusculum takes over, 5:34 to play in the 3rd, trailing 42-6 with 1st and 10 from their own 11. See what the Pioneers offense has after a great first drive of the half, but a fumble and a 3 and out the last 2 possessions.
Yeah, offense hasn't looked to have the same level of consistency as that very first drive of the second half, and Carson-Newman still has, looks like pretty much all the starters still out there against this Tusculum offense.
3 wide set for the Pioneers out of an A set. Collazo under center. Takes the snap, hands off Gamillion right side. He's hit in the backfield by Desmond Farrell and loses 2 yards back to the 9. Desmond Farrell shooting in from the backside to wrench down Gamillion for a 2-yard loss. Pioneers with minus 21 yards rushing as Gamillion takes a tumble in the backfield on the pressure from Desmond Farrell, 2nd and 12.
Well, he's a senior, and he timed that blitz perfectly. Right off the edge, he was in the backfield before the ball was even handed off.
2nd down, 12 to go for the Pioneers. Right hash at their own 9-yard line. Collazo out of the gun. Trips go to the wide side left. Snap back to Collazo. Takes it at the chest. Blitzed up the middle. He's hit by Nick Owens. Dragged down at the 1 for a sack. Nick Owens shoots in with Trezell Giardini-Weish. They sack Collazo back at the 1-yard line. A loss of 8 on the play. 3rd down, 20 to go for the Pioneers. 6th sack of the day for the Eagles defense. Trezell Weish shooting up the middle, and Collazo narrowly avoiding the safety.
Well, they run a stunt. Giardini Weiss comes through the A gap on the right side of the offensive line, untouched. And now CN with a chance potentially for a safety.
3rd and 20 for the Pioneers. Collazo out of the gun with Chameleon to his right. Snap back. Collazo flush from the pocket, runs right, settles, throws to the right sideline. It's bobbled and incomplete. Torrey Ponder had it in his hands, shy of the sticks at the 15, but he just bobbled the football out of bounds, and the Pioneers will punt in a dangerous situation for how janky snaps have been for the Pioneers today. One punt already tipped and blocked. And the Eagles see if they pin their ears back here. 4:04 to play, third quarter. Carson-Newman dominating 42-6. And Andrew Cantrell with his heels on the back line of the end zone. Wimbush deep to receive this kick. Snap comes back. Cantrell will get it off. Wimbush will signal for fair catch and haul it in at the 36-yard line. So a 35-yard punt for Andrew Cantrell. The Pioneers go 3 and out for a 6th time today. The Eagles take over 1st and 10 with 3:58 to play in the third quarter. 1st and 10 from the Pioneer 36-yard line. Eagles up 42-6 on Tusculum.
Oh, great field position for Carson-Newman. Looks like the starting offense will continue to go out there right now, and I think CN would like to get this offense maybe another drive, maybe 2 here. Obviously, you got Thackerson, the quarterback who just took over the full-time role last week. You want to try to get him as many reps entering the playoffs. One man in the backfield is Dimitri Salisbury. 2 tight end look and Wimbush in motion. It's a toss to Wimbush right side. Wimbush has a seam. He's across the 35. A stiff arm and a stumble to the right sideline. Knocked down by David Johnson down at the 33-yard line. Tusculum does a good job stringing that play to the sideline. Just 3 yards, 2nd and 7. The Eagles closing in on 400 yards of total offense against a Pioneer team that was giving up just 250 yards of total offense on its 4-game winning streak, which is just over 18 minutes away from coming to an end, barring a miracle. Well, Wimbush is closing in on a career high in terms of rushing yards for a game as well.
Season high. Had 180 last year at Virginia Union.
Well, it's not bolded in the game notes here, Kev.
Sorry there, Michael. Sorry there. 2nd and 7. Thackerson takes. Option to the right side. He keeps it. Hurdles a man at the 30. He's got a first down across the 25 and forced out of bounds down at the 19-yard line. A 14-yard tote for Tyler Thackerson. He's up over 60 yards on the day, and the Eagles move the chains down to the 19-yard line. 1st and 10, Carson-Newman. Eagles looking to put that final nail in the coffin, leading 42-6 with 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Try to remember to highlight and bold and italicize for you.
Yeah, I'm going to need that in this 4-point font.
Draft to the left side for Salisbury. He squirts down to the 15-yard line where Johnson rips him down. 4-yard gain for Dimitri Salisbury, brings up 2nd and 6. And now Carson-Newman really starting to take over, Michael, and just bully the Pioneers. That Tusculum defense has been on the field for a minute.
Well, you average 8 yards per play, 7.5 yards per rush. Been on the field for 25 minutes in this game. Yeah, this Tusculum defense really has been asked to do a lot today.
2nd and 6, Eagles. Thackerson takes a late pitch right side. Wimbush, he's across the 10, lowers his shoulders to the right sideline, and forced out of bounds by Dunn down at the Pioneers 7-yard line. An 8-yard gain for Antonio Wimbush. 148 on the day now for him. And it's 1st and goal for Carson-Newman from the Pioneers 7, looking to add to a 42-6 lead with 2:04 to play in the third quarter.
Well, the other aspect of this for Tusculum, boy, they have been behind pretty much the whole game in terms of where Carson-Newman started with the ball. Very short drives for CN, and the defense hasn't really been in spots to where they can stop CN.
1st and goal, McCarriv in motion to the wide side left. Thackerson takes, option to the right side, he keeps it. Thackerson spun around in the boundary right side and knocked down by Ivan Hogans down at the 5-yard line on the option keeper. 2-yard tote for Thackerson, 2nd and goal from the 5. 90 seconds to play third quarter, 42-6, Eagles leading. Carson-Newman has dominated in this one. 2nd down, goal to go from the 5. Wimbush and Salisbury, the splitbacks. Two tight end set. Thackerson takes. Option to the right side. Thackerson keeps it. Stiff arms his way across the goal line. And Thackerson has a career-high third rushing touchdown. Tyler Thackerson calls his own number. A 5-yard option keeper to the right. And it's a 48-6 lead for Carson-Newman. 1:10 to play in the third quarter. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. The Eagles piling it on the Pioneers here in the third quarter. 101st time since the turn of the century that Carson-Newman has scored 20 points in a quarter or more. All set up by the short field after the Pioneers had to punt from their own one. Snap is back, UD's hold is down, and Kraft's kick is through. It's a 49-6 lead for Carson-Newman with 70 seconds left in the third quarter. We're back to Berktar Stadium after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Since 1916, a lot of independent agents have recommended auto owners insurance, and a lot of parents have taken that recommendation to heart. So have a lot of their children, and grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. As we celebrate our first 100 years, Auto Owners Insurance thanks all those who have put their trust in us, and all the generations who will.
When you're sick and tired of fast food and need a fresh home-cooked meal, turn to Lisa's Country Kitchen. Lisa's been cooking up her fresh, never-frozen food for the Lakeway area for more than 15 years. Lisa's cares about her customers. You may enter a stranger, but you'll leave a friend. From foot-long hot dogs to juicy steaks, Lisa's has the best food for the best prices.
Lisa's Country Kitchen on Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
1:10 to play in the third quarter. A 49-6 lead for Carson-Newman over the Tusculum Pioneers. Last week in his post-game radio interview, Tusculum head coach Jerry Odom intimated that if we're staying home for the playoffs, Carson-Newman is staying home for the playoffs. No such thing happening here today. Eagles routing the Pioneers 49-6 with 70 seconds to play in the third quarter. I know Carson-Newman's players heard those comments, fired them up a little bit. And certainly they have played one of their best games of the season against a very good defense. Nate Kraft's kick is 5 yards deep into the end zone, and the Pioneers will take over 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line, trailing 49-6 with 70 seconds to play in the third quarter. Michael Wattrang, field position certainly playing a factor in this one. Eagles have started 11 drives, averaging their own 46.
Yeah, when you get the ball in that kind of field position, it's very easy to move the football, even against a very good Tusculum defense. Meanwhile, Tusculum has been backed up pretty much all day long.
54 yards of offense for the Pioneers. Bryce Moore is into the game at quarterback with a tight end Hundley to the right. Snap back to Moore. He hands off on a read play to the left side for Wilkins, and Williams cut down at the kneecaps by Antonio Henderson just over the left hashes. Just a yard gain up to the 26-yard line, 2nd and 9. Pioneers minus 28 yards rushing. That's influenced in part by 6 sacks for negative 40 yards.
Well, that D-line has really had quite the day here today, and it's been led by Montel Presley.
2nd down, 9 to go for the Pioneers. Left hash at their own 26. Moore out of the gun, Gamillions to his left. 3 wide set, 2 to the wide side right. Moore takes the shotgun snap, steps up in the pocket. He's rushing, heads over the middle of the field, gets hit at the line of scrimmage by Rodshawn Williams and Antonio Henderson, and Moore squirts forward up to the 28-yard line for a 2-yard gain. 3rd down and 7 to go for the Pioneers. 49-6 Eagles leading.
Very short underneath routes for Tusculum. It has been pretty much all day. CN's going to go into the fourth quarter, much like they have a lot when they played at home this season, up big.
49-6. Eagles put up 21 in the third frame and take a 49-6 lead into the fourth quarter. Final 15 minutes of the regular season. Head your way when we come back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
First Baptist Academy in Powell seeks to assist parents by providing an excellent classical education that fosters a biblical worldview, striving to equip students to impact the world for Christ. Schedule a tour of FBA today by calling 947-8503 or visit the website at fbaeagles.org. Grades pre-K through 12th are available with an individualized teaching approach. Get your children into a discipleship model of education today with a family environment at First Baptist Academy Powell. Ask for more information and take a closer look at FBA soon. Call the office and set the appointment, 865-947-8503 or fbaeagles.org.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
15 minutes to go from Berktar Stadium. Carson-Newman in the driver's seat, 49-6 on the Pioneers, outgaining Tusculum 421 yards to 57 yards. And the Eagles have been really dialed in on Senior Day, trying to make the playoffs, or make postseason play for a 26th time in program history. 3rd down and 7 to go for the Pioneers. Left hash at their own 28-yard line, now moving left to right here at Berktar Stadium in white tops and orange pants. Moore out of the gun, takes the snap, pressured up the middle. He's hit, and Moore sacked by Rondro Peebles. 7th sack of the day by Carson-Newman's defense. Peebles drags down Moore back at the 22-yard line. It's tied for the 5th most sacks in a single game in program history. And the Pioneers go 3 and out for a 7th time today.
Well, it's not just the sacks, Cav. I mean, you have all those sacks that you've added up, but you have 11 tackles for loss on top of that. I mean, this is a big Tusculum offensive line, and they have not handled CN.
Cantrell will get off a line drive kick that Desmond Farrell will track down in his 35, and he'll return this one across the 45. Shake and bake move left sideline, and forced out of bounds up at the 48-yard line after a 13-yard return. Some pushing and shoving out of bounds from Will Boney after the fact. Eagles take over with great field position at their own 48-yard line. This, an all-time great defensive performance. 52 yards gained. If the game ended right now, would go down as the 2nd fewest amount of yards that Carson-Newman has ever allowed in a single game in program history. September 15th, 2007 against St. Augustine's, the Falcons only had 35 yards of total offense, but still a lot of time.
Yeah, plenty of time left, but imagine what those numbers would be if CN doesn't give up that one scoring drive to start the second half.
Yeah, Tusculum's got minus 27 yards of total offense if you take that out. 1st and 10, Carson-Newman. Thackerson stays in the game at quarterback. He takes the snap, rolls the pocket left, wants the home run ball to Romaine Kelly. Kelly has it in his hands, and he bobbles it inside the 22. That was a touchdown, dialed up to Romaine Kelly. Eagles certainly want to leave no doubt against the Pioneers.
Yeah, that was a touchdown, and Kelly knew it. He was wide open, and you could see it as soon as the snap was taken by Thackerson that Kelly was going to reach into the second level. And it was wide open. Should have been a touchdown. Great throw from Thackerson as well.
2nd down, 10 to go, and now Micah Young is into the game at quarterback for Carson-Newman. Toot Johnson and Freud Dindy are the split backs. Tusculum shifting around defensively. Young takes, option to the right. Young on his senior day is spun around in the boundary right side and stopped for a loss of 1 back to the 46-yard line. Solomon Hunter ran the alleyway and stops him back at the 47 for a loss of 1, 3rd and 11 for the Eagles. 49-6, Eagles leading. Final 13 minutes, 45 seconds in this one, a mere formality. Carson-Newman going to be playoff bound for the 15th time as a member of Division II and headed to postseason play for a 26th time as an institution. Young on 3rd and 11. It'll come from the right hash. Play clock at 5. Young takes the snap. Straight drop. Now a delayed handoff up the middle. And not much there. No, Young actually kept it. Faked the handoff on the draw for Toot Johnson, and then Young, no gain, to the 47-yard line. So the Eagles go 3 and out for the third time today, and Carson-Newman will have to punt. 13:01 to play fourth quarter, 49-6, Carson-Newman in the driver's seat.
Well, Carson-Newman would love for some of this magic to continue into the playoffs. CN make one of those patented runs that they've had so often in the history of the program to the deep pastures of the NCAA playoffs, and boy, they've played well today.
Kraft on the punt, takes the snap from Campbell, hangs one high to the right sideline. It's called off by D. Alford, bounces at the 25, rolls inside the 15, and will be down between the hashes at the 14-yard line. Actually, down at the 15-yard line, pardon me. Great kick by Nate Kraft. A 38-yard punt, and his fourth down inside the 20. Pioneers take over 1st and 10 from the 15. Carson-Newman, a sensational defensive performance here today against the Pioneers. 12:28 to play fourth quarter, a 49-6 lead in hand for the Eagles over Tusculum. And we'd like to remind you on this Veterans Day game that the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment would like to thank Carson-Newman for its support. As a partner with Carson-Newman, the 278th ACR provides you with the opportunity to achieve your educational goals, earn a paycheck, obtain new skills, and qualify for assistance with college tuition. The 278th ACR invites you to be a leader while serving our community, our state, and our country. Come ride with the Tennessee Cavalry. Text 278-ACR to 70000. So text 278-ACR to 70000. What a dandy of a game for Carson-Newman football today against the Tusculum Pioneers. Eagles have never trailed, and they have dominated. 420 yards of total offense. Defense in control, just 52 yards of total offense, negative 31 yards on the ground for the Pioneers. Should that total stand, it will be the second worst rushing performance by an opponent in program history. St. Aug had minus 71 yards on the ground in 2007. 1st and 10 Pioneers toward the right hash at their own 15. Moore from the A set. Hands off up the middle for Wilkins. Wilkins fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage before he's wrapped up by Trezell Giardini-Weish and Jaquan Smith. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Pioneers negative 1.3 yards per rush. That's not going to get the job done.
Well, it's pretty much all over now up at Mars Hill. Wingate surged ahead to a 37-22 lead with 3 minutes to go in the third.
2nd and 10 for the Pioneers. Moore takes. Hands off Wilkins right side on a stretch play. The Eagles run the alleyway, and Jacob Varney drops him for a loss back at the 12. Carson-Newman's 12th tackle for loss on the day. This one for minus 3 yards. 3rd and 13 for the Pioneers.
Carson-Newman leaving no doubt in this one which team is the better team here in this state and in this rivalry, and it has been a rough day. But how about Carson-Newman's defense? Not only doing it as individuals, but as a unit. Nobody has more than 5 tackles. They are spreading the wealth in terms of productivity.
3rd and 13 for the Pioneers. Moore out of the gun, takes the snap, steps up in the pocket, now sprints out right. He's flush, throws right for Bellinger. That's complete up at the 20-yard line, but 5 yards short of the sticks. It's an 8-yard gain to A.J. Bellinger, his first catch of the day. But the Pioneers go 3 and out for a 8th time today. 10:50 to play fourth quarter. Eagles leading 49-6, and Tusculum's punt team is on.
Well, this is exactly what you want as a coach and as a player. On senior day, you're able to get some of those seniors out there for some snaps. And what for some seniors will be the last time they play a football game in terms of actually getting snaps.
Desmond Farrell is back to receive this Cantrell kick. Cantrell will get off a wobbler to the right sideline. It'll bounce at the 45, and Farrell will haul it in at the 38 to avoid losing field position and immediately step out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So 8 3-and-outs on the day for Tusculum's offense. They're sitting flat at 57 yards of total offense, minus 34 yards rushing for a Pioneer ground game that came in averaging 250 yards on the ground over this 4-game winning streak. Absolutely otherworld defensive performance by Carson-Newman.
Yeah, let's not forget Jordan Shippey's not on the field. He's one of the leading rushers in the entire conference. Don't know how much he would have made a difference. Obviously would have helped here today, but without him on the field and without the quarterback play with any level of consistency, Carson-Newman has done exactly what a playoff team needs to do and dominate a team like Tusculum.
10:15 to go in the fourth quarter, 49-6, Carson-Newman the lead. Micah Young stays in the game at quarterback, with Marcus Williams and Troy Dending, the split backs behind him. Jacob Reese tight end to the right. Zach Webster tight end to the left. Reese in motion to the short side left, and Young takes. Trap to the left side for Williams. Williams a burst into the second level, a stiff arm past the 50, and he's forced out of bounds in Pioneer territory by Dunn along the left sideline down at the 46-yard line. 17 yards on the ground for Marcus Williams, and the Eagles move the chains.
Well, while the stats would appear as if Tusculum has laid over and allowed Carson-Newman to do whatever they want, I feel like they're still playing really hard across the board. You have to appreciate that. They've done a great job of really applying pressure to Carson-Newman. It's just been CN manhandling them all game long.
2 tight end look again. 1st and 10 Eagles, left hash at the Pioneer 46-yard line. Young under center, split backs behind him. Webster in motion, the tight end to the wide side right. Young takes, trap to the right side. Williams has a sliver of daylight, and he squeaks through it across the 45, down to the 43-yard line for a 3-yard gain before he's collapsed down on by a litany of Pioneer defenders led by Ashton Watson. 2nd down, 7 to go.
Well, you like that Carson-Newman's able to get some of these guys the football because, as we've seen in years past, you get to the playoffs, you need everybody. You need some guys to really step up, and although Wimbush and Dendy have stepped into those feature back roles the last couple weeks, you never know when you're going to need Johnson, Williams, Jackson to spell one of those two.
Williams and Johnson are the split backs behind Young. He takes on 2nd and 7. Young option to the right, fakes the pitch, keeps it. He's across the 40, lowers the shoulder, and gets over the numbers right side down to the 39 where Hogan's drags him to the surface. 4 yards by Micah Young on the option keeper. 3rd down, 3 to go. Eagles need the 36, 8:38 to play fourth quarter, leading 49-6.
Well, Carson-Newman's been in manageable scenarios all game long, but 4 of 10 on 3rd down. Very uncharacteristic for a team that's top 10 in the country in terms of efficiency in that category.
I credit Tusculum a little for that, too. Pioneers, one of the stingier teams at 32% defensively. It's 3rd and 3 for Carson-Newman. Young takes, trap to the left side for Toot Johnson. Johnson along the left hashes, gets close to the sticks. I think he's a half-yard shy of the 36. Give him 2.5 down to the 37. 4th down and a half-yard to go for Carson-Newman.
Well, it makes sense. CN will probably go for it here. No need to punt it. No need to do anything crazy. If you don't get it, you don't get it. You turn the ball over and you send your defense back out there.
4th and 1 for the Eagles. Williams and Davis, the split backs. Trap to the left side for Williams. He's caught in the backfield and slung down for a loss of 2 back to the 38-yard line. Jackson Calthan with the stop in the backfield. And the Eagles turn it over on downs. Pioneers very good 4th down defense. That is the 13th time a team has attempted to go for it on 4th down against Tusculum. Opponents still 3 for 13 against the Pioneers. They take over on downs. Eagles still leading 49-6. 7:39 to play in the fourth quarter.
Well, some changes in terms of Carson-Newman's defense, mostly in the defensive backfield, but still Peebles out there, Giardini Weish out there. So you got to sprinkle in some of those reserves.
Moore settles into the gun with trips to the wide side left on 1st and 10 from the 38. Moore back to pass, and he's sacked. Bernard Scott and Trezell Giardini Weish meet him in the backfield to drop him back at the 31-yard line. 8th sack of the day by Carson-Newman's defense, tied for the 4th most in a single game in program history. -7 yards back to the 31, 2nd and 17.
Well, Carson-Newman brings corner blitz, and Gamillion, running back there, just whiffed on Scott, and no chance for the quarterback.
2nd down, 17 to go for the Pioneers. Right hash at their own 31-yard line. Moore out of the gun. Wilkins to his right. Now he shuffles off to the left. Moore takes the shotgun snap at the chest. Throws the quick hitter to the right side. That's complete at the 35. And Rondro Peebles ushers Desmond Arthur out of bounds up at the 42-yard line after a 12-yard gain. Third down and 6 to go for the Pioneers.
I'll never understand why players flaunt a little bit late in games when your team's getting just throttled. Arthur did the whole little, that's a first down with both hands. I mean, your team's down by 43 points. You're getting embarrassed on the road. Just go back to the huddle and give the ball back to the official.
6:30 to play, fourth quarter, 49-6. Carson-Newman leading. Tusculum 1 for 11 on third down. This is 3rd and 6 for the Pioneers from the right hash at their own 42. Moore takes, throws it quickly, left side Moss. He bobbles it, calls it in, but he gets yanked down by Caleb Goins up at the 44-yard line. Caleb Goins and Justin Triplett hit Moore late, probably going to tack on 15.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 91 on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So, yeah, the roughing the passer moves the chains, and the Pioneers are across midfield for the second time today. Last time it happened, they scored a touchdown.
Well, here is the problem for Carson-Newman, if there is anything from today. 7 penalties, 67 yards. You get to the playoffs, some of these penalties can really be magnified, and if I remember correctly, the scoring drive for Tusculum, CN committed a penalty that extended the drive.
1st and 10, Pioneers, left hash at the Carson-Newman 41, trailing 49-6 with 5:59 to play in the fourth quarter. Empty set for Moore, 5 wide, trips to the right. Moore back to pass, steps up in the pocket, rolls right. Now he will sprint. Moore across the 35, and he sprints out of bounds past Bernard Scott down at the 33-yard line. An 8-yard rush is the longest run of the day by a Tusculum player. It doubles the longest run of the day. That's the kind of day that the Pioneers have had on the ground. And it's 2nd and 2 for the Pioneers from the Carson-Newman 33. Trailing 49-6 to the Eagles, 5:35 to play in the fourth quarter. Empty set again for Bryce Moore. Trips out to the wide side left, 2 to the short side right. Moore takes the shotgun snap, sprints out to the left, and Moore will pump and run. He's got the first down, a little bit more across the 30, and out of bounds down to the Carson-Newman 27-yard line. 6 yards for Moore on the ground, and the Pioneers pick up their 7th first down of the game. Tusculum now with negative 27 yards rushing.
Carson-Newman defensively isn't going to do anything wild or crazy at this point. Really, the only thing that matters is the time. Obviously, you'd love not to give up any more points or make any more mistakes, but at this point, you're not going to allow Tusculum to throw anything over the top, so you're going to play 2 deep safeties.
1st and 10, Pioneers lead or Pioneers trail. They've got it at the Carson-Newman 27-yard line. Out of the backfield, Moore will sprint out to the left and just fling it forward. And that's incomplete. Moore with a backhand shovel pass. His intended target didn't see that one coming. No chance for Maurice Gamillion to make a play on it. That's a play that you expect a Brandon Roberts to make, maybe a backhanded shuffle to start to turn 2. It doesn't work so well on the football field.
Well, I think of all guys, maybe a Tyler Miller. He's a little more slick fielding
John
out
Topolesky,
there.
those are elite guys on that left side of that infield. 2nd down, 10 to go. Moore out of the gun. Quickly throws left side. That's complete to Davis. His defender falls down. Davis first down yardage across the 20. And Zach Talley brings him down inside the 15, down at the 13-yard line. 14 yards through the air. And Tusculum trending toward 100 yards of total offense on the day. They're down 49-6, though, with 4:30 to play in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10 Pioneers, left hash at the Eagle 13. Moore out of the gun, back to pass, rolling right. Throws to the end zone. That is incomplete. Over top of Moss. A flag on the play. Back where Moore threw the ball. We'll check with Rick St. George on the official call. And it is on Tusculum.
Holding, number 70 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So charge Christian Culture with the hold. And it backs the Pioneers up to the 24-yard line for 1st and 20.
Honestly, for Tusculum, you probably would have liked to maybe had a little more of those in this game. I mean, you give up 8 sacks. At some point, you got to protect your quarterback and make sure that he's not on his backside the whole time. You have to imagine that Collazo and Moore have struggled, partly because of the fact that they feel like they're going to get hit every time and their linemen aren't going to be able to hold their water.
1st and 20 for the Pioneers, left hash at the Carson-Newman 23. Moore from the gun, takes the shotgun snap at the waist. Eagles bring pressure up the middle. Moore escapes, rolls right, throws right, complete to Ponder. Ponder across the 20, hurdles the main at the 10. He's inside the 5. The ball is fumbled at the 1. It's picked up by Moss, and Moss rolls into the end zone. Touchdown, Tusculum. A wild play with Ponder stripped at the goal line by Talley. He's down on the ground, and then Moss picks it up, takes it in the end zone from 2 yards away to give the Pioneers their 2nd score of the day.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the offense in the end zone. Result of the play is a touchdown. This is an injury timeout.
4:05 to play in the 4th quarter, 49-12. Carson-Newman leading Tusculum, and Carson-Newman sports medicine staff tending to the injured Zach Talley. And another play where Carson-Newman had loads of pressure on Moore. He's able to find Moss out of the backfield. And the Eagles nearly made something happen, but Jacob Moss was Johnny on the spot to recover the fumble and take it into the end zone for the score. Talley helped up off the field, and he will be taken immediately to the training room by Carson-Newman's sports medicine staff. He is favoring his left leg. So it'll be Eli Shepard on for the point after attempt. Snap comes back. The hold is down. Shepard's kick is through the uprights, and it's a 49-13 lead for the Eagles with 4:05 to play in the 4th quarter. Tusculum up over 100 yards of total offense on the day with that 23-yard touchdown fumble recovery by Jacob Moss. And the Eagles still cruising. Michael Watron.
2 drives, that's it. At the end of the day, Tusculum had 2 drives. The one to start the second half, certainly something that Larry Slade will look at. Certainly wants to make some adjustments there because you can't allow a team that didn't move the ball at all in the first half to rumble down the field 8 plays, 75 yards. This most recent scoring play, more so a byproduct of CN just being a little more cautious. I know they still brought some blitzes, and it's a good job by Moore at the end of the day, being able to evade the rush at times to be able to extend plays and get some yardage. But really just 2 drives. That's it. At the end of the day for Carson-Newman's defense, that's all CN can do. Now the question becomes for Carson-Newman's coaching staff, for this team, who do you play? Where do you go? What happens with the selection show as you turn your sights to the playoffs, and how do you get prepared for that? It's a team that we felt at the beginning of the year had high potential. It's the 20-year anniversary of maybe one of the best games in the history of college football, that Northwest Missouri State game that really should be one of the best college football games in the history. I know it's some sore memories for CN fans.
Here's an onside kick for the Pioneers, but the Eagles recover it. Ryan Randall grabs it at the 48-yard line. Eagles take over in Pioneer territory. 4:04 to play, 4th quarter, leading 49-13. Defense has been part of the story for today for Carson-Newman. 8 sacks, 4th most in school history. 12 tackles for loss, and Tusculum on pace to become the 7th team in school history to have negative yards rushing against Carson-Newman.
But to my point, this is a Carson-Newman team that can make a run.
Yep.
There's no question about it. They're talented enough. They have the playmakers at the spots you need them to have. Now the question becomes, when you get to the playoffs, can you make it happen?
E.J. Davis and Brian Payne are the split backs behind Micah Young. A wide out each way. 1st and 10, right hash at the Pioneer 48. Young takes, trap to the left side for Payne. Payne a good surge. Over the left hashes down to the 46-yard line where Hogan wraps him up. Credit him the 45 with a 3-yard gain, and it's 2nd and 7. Eagles with 333 yards rushing now, 448 yards of total offense, outgaining Tusculum 4-1 on the day. Leading the Pioneers 49-13 with 3:40 to play in the 4th. It has been a dominant one for the Eagles here in Berktar Stadium on Senior Day. Young takes, rides the dive, left of center for E.J. Davis. Davis across the 45 and the boundary left side, down to the 42-yard line for another 3-yard tote. Third down and 4 to go for Carson-Newman. 3:20 to play, fourth quarter, leading 49-13.
Well, you like this because you can get the senior offensive linemen out there. Tristan Hahn is out there. Jake Mark, Cole Fritz, all out there. Braxton Dockery at receiver. He's out there for Carson-Newman. You like the fact that you're able to get these seniors out there with one more chance to play football in their lives, barring, a blowout in the playoffs. But you would think this would be the last time they get some snaps.
2 wide to the wide side, right on 3rd and 4 for Carson-Newman. And a flag blows the play dead before it can get started. I believe false start coming on Carson-Newman. Here's Rick St. George.
False start, number 48, lining up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty remains, 3rd down.
So Jacob Reese whistled for that. And it's 3rd and 9 now for Carson-Newman from the Pioneer 47-yard line. 2:44 to play, fourth quarter. Really just lets Carson-Newman milk a little more clock. Eagles up 49-13 on the Pioneers. A great way to celebrate a birthday, with a 49-13 lead on the Pioneers here late. Young will bleed this play clock down to 0, and then Mike Turner will call for time.
Carson-Newman, their first timeout in the second half.
We'll see what the Eagles do here. 49-13 the lead for Carson-Newman. We look around the South Atlantic Conference. Newberry holds serve at home against Limestone with a 14-7 win in a game bereft of offense. Wingate has more or less put away Mars Hill. 10:33 to play in the fourth quarter. The Bulldogs have a 44-28 lead on the Lions. UNC Pembroke playing host to UVA Wise, and with 2:31 left in the fourth quarter, Braves have that one in hand with a 20-7 lead on the Highland Cavaliers. It's Lenore Rhine thumping Catawba in a rout, 49-3. That one was 7-3 after a quarter, and then the Bears score 35 over the next 2 to get Catawba a winless season in South Atlantic Conference play. Over in Bristol, Tennessee at halftime, Carson-Newman women's basketball in action. Mark Mausner on the air. It's the Eagles down 32-30 at the break to the King Tornado. 3rd and 9 for the Eagles, left hash at the Pioneer 47-yard line. Young takes, option to the left side, a late pitch. Now Young actually keeps it. And Young able to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it for Micah Young. Ashton Watson blew the play up. And Carson-Newman goes 3 and out. Tusculum calls for time.
Tusculum, their second timeout.
Pioneers with 1 left with 2:08 to play, and Tusculum just trying to get some style points for the seniors here late, trailing 49-13. 2:08 to play in the fourth quarter. Around Super Region 2, the big games of note, you start in the CIAA, the title game between Bowie State and Fayetteville State. It's the Bulldogs up 14-0 on the Broncos, a 14-point first quarter for Bowie State. In the SEAC title game, Albany State is taking on Miles. We do not have a score reported from that contest. And then around the Gulf South, Mississippi State playing host to Delta State. And what could knock Delta State out of playoff contention, and the Choctaws are up 16-6 on the Statesmen late in the second quarter. Delta State really on the outside looking in, especially if Albany State wins the SEAC title game. They would get in via earned access as the 7 seed and have to play a 2 seed, which presumably would be Lenore Rhine. Kraft is on to punt with a 49-13 lead in hand for Carson-Newman, 2:08 to play in the fourth quarter. Snap comes back to Kraft, no rush to speak of. Gets his right leg into it and sends it to Alford, who signals for fair catch and brings it in inside the 15 at the 13-yard line. That's certainly been a difference maker today. Nate Kraft's leg, 5th punt that he pins Tusculum inside the 15.
Yeah, and when you're Tusculum and your offense has already been inept in this game, you're starting the ball between the shadows of your own goalpost makes things that much harder. Well, 2 minutes to go. Well, if you're Carson-Newman, you can't allow another touchdown because 49-13 looks a lot better than 49-20 at this point because it's been a dominating effort. Probably should have been 49-6 if anything.
Pioneers have a new quarterback into the game. It's Hunter Wisemore. He's in the shotgun with Gamillion to his right. Snap back to Wisemore, stands in the pocket, throws out to the right side, complete to Davis. Davis with a seam up over the 20 and 25-yard line. And forced out of bounds by Braxton Dockery, who has switched from offense to defense, and forces him out of bounds up at the 27-yard line. 13 yards through the air to Davis, and Tusculum wants to go quick. 1:50 to play, 4th quarter, trailing 49-13. Wisemore, empty set out of the gun, trips to the wide side right. 5 wide. Snap back to Wisemore, 4-man rush. Throws quickly to Moss right side, complete at the 30. And Moss shoved out of bounds from behind by Austin Greer up at the 34-yard line. That's 7 yards through the air. 2nd and 3 for the Pioneers.
Yeah, I know one of the faux pas in radio is to not mention the number. Well, Austin Greer's wearing 84 as a cornerback out there. You don't see that.
No.
I don't care what level you're at. Even the Pee Wee football, you don't see 84 out there.
84. 11 isn't that unusual for a DB, but Braxton Dockery was in a wide receiver on the previous possession. Wisemore out of the gun on 2nd and 7. He's hitting the backfield, and Trezell Giardini-Weish has him in his grasp for the 9th sack of the day for Carson-Newman's defense. A loss of 3. Back to the 31-yard line. Carson-Newman, 2nd most sacks in a single game in program history. Tied with a game at Valdosta State, November 22nd, 2003. A game at Mars Hill, October 4th that same year. 3rd and 6 for the Pioneers. Wisemore back to pass. Steps up in the pocket. He's hit. He's headed to the ground. Timothy Johnson Jr. gets Carson-Newman its 10th sack of the day, along with Trezell Giardini-Weish. A program record, 10 sacks for Carson-Newman. Turner gets a water bath in celebration on the sidelines. 4th down, 11 to go. And the Pioneers leave the offense on the field with 18 seconds left. 4 wide set. Wisemore takes the shotgun snap at the waist. Back to pass. He throws to the right side. That's complete at the 30 to Ponder. Ponder shaking and baking. He's across the 40, stays in bounds, across the 45, and that is how the game comes to a close. Happy birthday, Sienna Rosemarie. Eagles win 49-13 over the Tusculum Pioneers. Carson-Newman sends out the seniors in style with a 49-13 victory over the Tusculum Pioneers. Everything you wanted, Carson-Newman got today. Single game program record for sacks. Eagles dominate defensively and get the job done over the Pioneers. Michael Watrank.
Well, just a phenomenal effort. It's a team that's hungry. You mentioned the fact that there hadn't been a senior class since 1980 that didn't make the playoffs. Well, this senior class is in it. There's a couple of these players that will be in for the second time, your 5th-year players like Antonio Wimbush. But, boy, what an effort in this game by Carson-Newman here today. As defensively, they were able to do it. Offensively, they were able to do it. Special teams, domination. CN on a beautiful Saturday here in East Tennessee, able to take down Tusculum and once again knock down the Pioneers.
49-13, the final from Mossy Creek. Eagles will be playoff bound for the 26th time in program history. The way the results have petered out so far, we're going to presume that Carson-Newman will be on the road at Bowie State. The new playoff structure is such that teams 5 through 7 in each region all get lumped together and then are seeded according to travel. Bowie State is the only, Carson-Newman is the only foe that Bowie State could play in Super Region 2 that wouldn't require a flight. That's why we're presuming it'll be the Eagles on the road at the Bulldogs next week from Bowie, Maryland, but we'll find out for sure tomorrow at 5 p.m. with the NCAA Selection Show. Domino's postgame report is up next. It's after these messages on the Eagle Sports Network.
Domino's Pizza in Jefferson City and Morristown wants to help feed your business. When you're hungry at lunch, show your business card at Domino's in Jefferson City and Morristown when you make your purchase for pickup or delivery to get 25% off the entire order. That's 25% off your order at Domino's in Jeff City and Morristown when you show your business card. Call 865-471-6700 to get a pizza. Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles.
At InterDigital, we strive to be a leading provider of cutting-edge digital and marketing solutions. At InterDigital, we want to help our clients find success. Our team of technology gurus work together to ensure InterDigital continues to progress forward as technology advances. At InterDigital, we make technology work for you. Visit interdigital.com for IT support, web development, virtual tours, graphic design, internet marketing, mobile app, and film production services.
InterDigital, laser focused on your success.
Power in numbers is more than just a catchphrase. It's a way of building community. At your Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, we are your energy community, and the power we provide is much more than a way to keep the lights on. It's how you plug into the friends and neighbors that make up your local co-op, working together to create a different kind of power network, one that puts members first. Sure, you can go it alone, but there's powers. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives.
AEC, powered by the people you know. The game's over, but we're just getting warmed up. The Domino's postgame report hits the air in 60 seconds on the Eagle Sports Network.
Drive safer longer when you visit your local Michelin dealer, Fleet Tire, for a set of Michelin Defender tires. Michelin is the brand drivers turn to for tire options that deliver a safe, quiet, and comfortable ride. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue, exit 1B, Knoxville. Based on internal wet braking results versus Goodyear, Assurance, Comfort Tread tires, and third-party wear test results versus Continental ProTrack tires with Eco Plus. See manufacturer's limited warranty book for details. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue.
Nana, we can leave in a second. I need to pay a bill first.
Well, don't you need to write a check?
A check? No way. This is how we pay bills now, with our phone. And it's paid.
A lot has changed since Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union started 85 years ago. Whether you write checks or use tools like mobile check deposit or send money, we're helping you do more. Visit tvacreditunion.com to learn more. Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, moving together through life, upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Ask for details.
AM 620 WRTZ Knoxville.
Watrack.
This is the Domino's postgame report on the Eagle Sports Network. Highlights, stats, a conversation with Mike Turner, and player interviews are all headed your way.
Johnson pressured in the backfield. He's caught and roped down by Phelan Booker.
The Domino's postgame report is brought to you in part by Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Appalachian Electric Cooperative, your local Touchstone Energy Cooperative, always looking out for you. By the Eagle Club, the family of Eagles. By Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Real Coca-Cola taste with zero sugar and 0 calories. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Taste the feeling. By the Bible Insurance Agency, the agency that's service-built. By the Carson-Newman Chick-fil-A. Jefferson City eats more chicken. By Lisa's Country Kitchen, the best food for the best prices. By the Kate Insurance Agency, insuring your future since 1959. By the Tennessee National Guard, a generation of volunteers. And by ShopCNEagles.com, the official online store of the Carson-Newman Eagles. Now, back to the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier.
What a dandy of a performance for Carson-Newman football inside of Berktar Stadium. Eagles triumph in the second oldest rivalry game in the state of Tennessee, 49-13 over the Tusculum Pioneers. Eagles put a halt to the Pioneers' 4-game winning streak and extend their own winning streak. out to 4 games. Carson-Newman will most certainly be playoff bound at 8-2 and 6-2 in South Atlantic Conference play. Carson-Newman dominated this one. Dominated defensively, dominated offensively. You want to know about something that went the Eagles' way today. Carson-Newman limits Tusculum to 149 yards of total offense, but the Pioneers get the bulk of that in the fourth quarter when the reserves were very much in the game for the Eagles' defense. The 149 yards of total offense brings Tusculum out of the dregs of the record book, and that doesn't factor into the top 10 for the fewest amount of total offense gained by an opponent. Pioneers just sneak outside of the top 10 with that figure. They had 54 yards of total offense entering the fourth quarter, but able to get some things going late and finish with 149 yards of total offense. That is in part because the Eagles limited Tusculum to negative 35 yards rushing. That is the third fewest yards rushing that Carson-Newman has allowed all time. 7th game in program history where Carson-Newman gives up, or I shouldn't say gives up, forces a team into negative yards rushing. And it is the third most yards negative rushing behind minus 71 yards by St. Augustine's in 2007 and negative 47 yards rushing by Southwest State in 1990. The defense keyed by Trezell Giardini-Weishar, Angie Cox, State Farm Player of the Game. He had a total of 8 tackles, 4.5 sacks. That is tied for the third most in a single game in school history, and 5.5 tackles for loss, also tied for the third most in a single game in school history. Eagles positively lived in the backfield on the day. 10 sacks. That ties a single game school record. Eagles had 10 at the University of New Haven on September 14th, 2002, while the 15 tackles for loss are tied for the fourth most in school history. Eagles had 15 at Wingate on November 3rd, 2001. Regardless, Carson-Newman absolutely resided in Tusculum's backfield on the day, and the defense was dominant. Eagles started fast after an initial flub. Carson-Newman went 3 and out on its opening possession, but the Pioneers also went 3 and out on their first possession, one of 8 3 and outs on the day for Tusculum's offense. Carson-Newman would score the next 3 times it touched the football in the first half, twice in the first quarter, and once in the second quarter. Braxton Westfield, a 35-yard touchdown catch, Antonio Wimbush, an 18-yard rush, and Devon Moore, a 20-yard reverse for the first 3 scores of the day. Carson-Newman would take a 28-0 lead into the halftime locker room when Troy Dendy took advantage of a Desmond Farrell interception to scamper off a 22-yard run and set the Eagles up 28-0 at the halftime break. Tusculum got on track early in the third quarter, an 8-play, 75-yard drive. Joaquin Collazo hit Ponder for a 35-yard score, but the Eagles countered instantaneously. Antonio Wimbush ripped off a 67-yard run, set the Eagles up at the goal line, and a play later, Tyler Thackerson surged in from a yard out to finish off a 2-play, 68-yard drive in 23 seconds. Eagles 35, Pioneers 6, with 10:17 to play in the third quarter. Tusculum would fumble away their next drive. 3 plays, 20 yards later, a minute 14 off the clock. Thackerson calls his own number on an option keeper to stretch the advantage to 42-6. Teams would exchange 3 and outs the next 3 drives before Carson-Newman got the football back at its own 36. And again, it was at the Pioneer 36 after Tusculum was backed up to its own 1-yard line. A 6-play, 36-yard drive. Tyler Thackerson, his third score of the third quarter, to give the Eagles a 49-6 edge. Tusculum would add 1 score in the fourth quarter on a fumble recovery by Moss in the end zone on a pass that was completed to Ponder. He fumbled at the goal line. Moss picked it up, took it into the end zone. An 8-play, 62-yard drive, 3:34 off the clock, and it set the final margin at Carson-Newman 49, Tusculum 13. One thing for sure, Eagles will be playoff bound. Carson-Newman, barring just some things that I couldn't possibly fathom, should be in postseason play for the 26th time in program history and the 15th time as a member of NCAA Division II. We'll continue on the Domino's postgame report in a moment. We'll check in with Mike Turner, speak with Trey Zelger, Adini Weish, Rondro Peebles, Antonio Wimbush, and Trevor McCarroll. It's all when we come back after this on the Eagle Sports Network.
Insurance, it's about people, not things. It's about security. It's about confidence. It's about relationships. It's about trust. It's about you. As a local independent agent, Bible Insurance Agency can design an insurance program that's just right for you and your family. Give the people you love safe, sound, secure protection from Auto Owners Insurance. Call Bible Insurance Agency, 423-586-4320, or go by 1600 East Andrew John in Morristown.
Dorm food got you down? Need a home-cooked meal? Then Lisa's Country Kitchen is for you. Lisa's Country Kitchen has been feeding Carson-Newman students for 15 years. Lisa's has a family-friendly atmosphere all day long. From the morning $99 breakfast to dinner with Lisa's fresh, never-frozen steaks. Carson-Newman students get a 10% discount with their student ID.
Lisa's Country Kitchen on Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
Serving East Tennessee for 40 years, Magaha Electric is the perfect choice for all your electrical projects. Magaha Electric specializes in commercial, retail, manufacturing, residential, and industrial contracting needs. Magaha Electric can provide superior service, technical know-how, and realistic budgeting for any size project in a timely, cost-effective manner. Visit MagahaElectric.com for all your electrical contracting needs. Magaha Electric, your East Tennessee electrical contracting source.
Back to the gridiron in 60 seconds.
One play, 80 yards, and the Eagles are on board first.
On the Eagles Sports Network.
First Baptist Academy in Powell seeks to assist parents by providing an excellent classical education that fosters a biblical worldview, striving to equip students to impact the world for Christ. Schedule a tour of FBA today by calling 947-8503 or visit the website at fbaeagles.org. Grades pre-K through 12th are available with an individualized teaching approach. Get your children into a discipleship model of education today with a family environment at First Baptist Academy Powell. Ask for more information and take a closer look at FBA soon. Call the office and set the appointment, 865-947-8503 or fbaeagles.org.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
It's an unrelenting 49-13 win for Carson-Newman over Tusculum on Senior Day. Eagles improved to 8-2, win their fourth straight game of the year, and likely will be playoff bound for the 26th time in program history. We start to check in with folks down on the field. Michael Watrang standing by with one of the 25 seniors honored before the game today, Trevor McCarroll, alongside Michael. Take it away, Watrang.
Senior Day's a happy one for Trevor McCarroll and his whole family right behind us here as Carson-Newman takes down Tusculum here on Senior Day. Trevor, a lot of people here, all the way from Michigan. What's it mean to have that group behind you?
It's great, man. I get emotional talking about it. They've never quit on me. It's great to have them travel all the way from Michigan. It's a blessing to have all these people on my back. This is great. It's wonderful.
You have this number representing your brother. What's it mean to have this kind of performance in his honor?
It's unbelievable. I promised his mom that I would wear it 6 years ago, and to wear this number and to wear it and play the way that I played today, man, it means more to me than anything I've ever had. This is awesome.
We've talked about how your journey, well, there's 25 seniors on this team that was all trying to get into the playoffs. Yeah. Pretty much from week one, you guys knew that you guys had to play for a playoff berth. Yeah. What's it mean now to finally feel some of the fruits of that labor and know that you guys are playoff bound?
It was great. The celebration we had in that locker room was one that I've never had before. It was great, pouring water on the coaches, throwing water in the air. It was a wonderful time, man. I love those guys, and I wouldn't trade this team for anybody.
Let's break down this game for one quick Go 3 and out on your very first drive of the game. Looks like this is going to be a tough one against a good Tusculum defense. What changed for your guys' group?
Well, our coaching, man, they're up top, letting us know they ran. We practiced a little bit different of a defense, and so we had to make some time to adjust. And so that's why the first drive was a 3 and out, and the rest of the game was dominating. We dominated them the whole game.
You don't know who you're going to play. You're going to find that out tomorrow. But what does this team need to do now that you know that the guaranteed games are out of the way? You just have one more guaranteed game left on the schedule.
Yes, sir. It's, we have to celebrate this win tonight, but at the end of the day, tomorrow we find out who we play, and that's when, a whole nother switch needs to be flipped. This team is ready. We prepare. Our coaches are ready. We're ready to take on all the challenges that comes with this.
Trevor, appreciate the time. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
That's Trevor McCarriff. Back upstairs to you, Cav.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Watrang. Eagles get the job done over the Tusculum Pioneers, 49-13. Time now for our AEC electrifying play of the day, and it goes to Braxton Westfield. The first touchdown of the day for Carson-Newman came on a post pattern to Braxton Westfield. His 35-yard score is our AEC electrifying play of the game. AEC, member-owned and service-driven. After all, you're not just a utility customer. You are a co-op member. Well, Braxton Westfield gets our AEC electrifying play of the game. Trezell Giardini-Weish is our Angie Cox State Farm player of the game for his 8-tackle, 4.5 sack, 5.5 tackle for loss effort. And Trezell Giardini-Weish standing by down on the field with Michael Watrang. Michael.
Our Angie Cox State Farm player of the game, Trezell Giardini-Weish, 4.5 sacks, third most in the history of the program. Well, let's talk about that. You guys tied a program record, 10 sacks in this game. Why were you guys able to get to the quarterback?
With the DBs we have, like Dez and Jaquan and DeMarcus, it makes the D-line easier for us to just get back there and have fun. And we got to thank the linebackers, too, because with them blitzing and pressuring, the guards and the tackles were more focused on them and gave us the D-line an easier pathway to the quarterback.
Well, this game was a little bit crazy in terms of how you guys were able to defend this team. For the whole game, it felt like they weren't going to have positive yardage at all. They ended in negative yardage rushing. What was it about your guys' effort that you were able to slow their attack down?
We actually went back from last year's film and saw how they just gushed us for the stretch and power, all that. And this year we made it a point to stop the run. And then once you stop the run, you get to have fun with the passing and the blitzing. It's just amazing.
You get a win here on Senior Day for this group. You guys secure a playoff win. You beat an in-state rival that beat you last year. What's a win like this mean for this team?
It means a lot because it's actually momentum going into the playoffs, and it just gives us as a team focus, and now we're more determined to just keep going, pushing harder.
You don't know who you're going to play. Potentially it's going to be a team that you've never seen before, potentially in Bowie State, depending on how things shake out. What does this team need to do to celebrate tonight, celebrate the playoffs tomorrow, but get ready to work for a road trip more than likely next week?
With a win like this, we need to celebrate it now, and then once it's over, and focus on that next opponent.
Trezell, appreciate the time. Congrats on the win.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
That's Trezell Giardini-Weish. Back upstairs to you, Cav.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Watrang. Eagles get the job done over the Tusculum Pioneers, 49-13. Domino's postgame report continues in a moment. We'll still speak with Mike Turner, chat with Rondro Peebles and Antonio Wimbush. That's all ahead after these messages on the Eagles Sports Network.
The #1 source for Carson-Newman athletics gear, shopseeandeagles.com, where you can find gear from Adidas, Columbia, Nike, and Under Armour. Shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, shorts, pants, hats, and scarves. Shopseeandeagles.com is your source for everything CN. You can even show your school spirit on your smartphone or tablet. All of your game day essentials can be found in one place. Shopseeandeagles.com.
At the Kate Insurance Agency, our focus is you. The Kate Insurance Agency offers personalized protection plans to cover your auto, home, business, or life and health. At Kate Insurance, our goal is to partner with you in determining your insurance needs and to provide the best customer service. At Kate Insurance, we believe that loyalty is a quality that is earned. You are important to us. Call 865-475-3391 for a quote today, or visit kateinsuranceagency.com.
I joined the Guards for the simple fact that I could be home and also in the military. So I can have a civilian job and also in the military. I would tell somebody who's trying to join the Guards or thinking about it, that it's a great opportunities for school, training, discipline, leadership. There's a lot of opportunities. It broadens your spectrum of that.
278-ACR to 70000 to join the Tennessee Army National Guard.
More player interviews and stats come your way in 60 seconds when the Domino's postgame report continues on the Eagles Sports Network.
Drive safer longer when you visit your local Michelin dealer, Fleet Tire, for a set of Michelin Defender tires. Michelin is the brand drivers turn to for tire options that deliver a safe, quiet, and comfortable ride. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue, exit 1B, Knoxville. Based on internal wet braking results versus Goodyear, Assurance, Comfort Tread tires, and third-party wear test results versus Continental ProTrack tires with Eco Plus. See manufacturer's limited warranty book for details. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue.
Nana, we can leave in a second. I need to pay a bill first.
Well, don't you need to write a check?
A check? No way. This is how we pay bills now, with our phone. And it's paid.
A lot has changed since Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union started 85 years ago. Whether you write checks or use tools like mobile check deposit or send money, we're helping you do more. Visit tvacreditunion.com to learn more. Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, moving together through life, upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Ask for details.
Welcome you back atop Berktar Stadium. Adam Cavalier, happy to have you alongside as Carson-Newman prevails over the Tusculum Pioneers 49-13 in absolutely dominant fashion. The Eagles get the job done over the Tusculum Pioneers 49-14. Eagles otherworldly in the efforts defensively, 10 sacks. That ties a single-game program record. 15 tackles for loss. That's the fourth most in a single game in school history. The defense was just exceptional for Carson-Newman on the day. Negative 35 yards rushing for Tusculum, seventh game in program history that Carson-Newman has forced an opponent into negative yards rushing, and the third most negative yards rushing by a foe in school history. And it comes on senior day for the Eagles with a playoff berth on the line. Carson-Newman absolutely sensational in their efforts today over the Tusculum Pioneers. Adam Cavalier here on the Domino's postgame report. Pleased to be joined by a very soggy Mike Turner. You got a victory bath, Mike, after the game, and a pretty sweet time to crack open a victory Diet Coke. Needed a win to get in, and absolutely left no doubt against the Tusculum Pioneers. How proud are you of this team and the 25 seniors on the roster for their performance today?
Well, it was a great win. It was a great win as a team in all phases of the game. I was so proud of them for the most part, with keeping their composure, going against the odds on some things. They did that. They executed like we wanted to as far as starting the game and get it rolling. But, for those 25 seniors, senior day will always be special for them. And this is a game that they'll remember. And I hope this is a great mark for our football program. It's a great way to end the first part of 2019, and we get to keep that story going right now, which is going to be awesome.
So what chapter is this? Are we going into the epilogue for this book? How are we shaping out this story that you made that reference after the LR game that there was still a story to be told, right. Certainly a story to be told, 26th time Carson-Newman goes to postseason play.
Well, it's just an awesome thing for our kids. It's it's about believing. It's about being able to trust, and you can't trust unless you believe and you got faith. And we told them today, and it's about fight. You got to fight hard every snap because Tusculum is a good football team. You got to keep the faith that if things do go bad or some adversity shows up, you keep the faith and then finish. And I think our kids finished. I think that was a good exclamation point right there. And gosh, we got a lot of people in the football game, which was even better that we got them in there. We'd like to, maybe produced a little bit better, but we got kids in the game, and that's what's important. And just a great day for Carson-Newman football.
This was a Tusculum team that had won 4 straight games, felt like they were peaking. We're averaging 250 yards rushing. You limit them negative 35 yards on the ground today. What did your defense do, especially Trey Zeldger, Weish, just to live in the Pioneer backfield?
Well, gosh, they did what we talked about all week, buddy. You play assignment football. You don't get washed out of your gap. You maintain gap integrity. And, buddy, you attack off the football. Man, I watched their attack today, and it was so nice to see that and see when we brought linebacker pressure. It was, everything was a high level today, Adam. You know what I mean? It was a high level. We were playing fast. We were thinking fast. And we took care of the football and got it took away a couple of times. So that was awesome.
Yeah, played turnover free. Took good care of the football, didn't give up anything in special teams. Everything that went against you last year in the loss in Greenville was for you today. Break down special teams. Gave up a couple long kickoff returns, but Nate Kraft was on point with punts, pinned the Pioneers inside their own 15 4 times.
Oh, absolutely. And, Nate's got two ways of kicking it. You watch him out there at practice, you're going, how could he do that? He'll take that sucker and boom it 45, 50 yards, or if he's trying to get it down inside, turns the toe down and got it with a great bounce. But man, they did it goes back to field position. This game is pretty simple most of the time if you allow it to be that way. And we got the football in good field position. We had the one time we talked about we're going to drive at 89 yards or whatever it was, 91 yards, and we moved the football. We kept them with their back to the wall when we did have to punt it or whatever. So, just a complete day. And what a beautiful day outside, but what a way to end the regular season of 2019.
You go 3 and out on your first possession of the day, but on the second, 2 for 2 through the air for 54 yards, including a 35-yard strike to Braxton Westfield. How was it? You didn't have to pass the ball a ton today, but how important was your passing game on that second drive to open up the offense a little bit?
Well, they came out and they were running a little bit of a 3-3. We had worked against the Okie. We worked against the 40 front. We worked against the 3-3, no question about it, and the linebacker coming around. And we worked against all those fronts. And, we needed to make sure we were going that kind of tempo. And, play action, our kids did a great job of protecting the quarterback to be able to get play action like that and get the ball up in the air. But it is great to watch Braxton Westfield and Romaine Kelly and those cats go do that, and to watch Devon Moore today take a reverse that maybe wasn't blocked all that well. But let me tell you how good it was blocked. Nobody had a penalty flag on them, and they all had their hands up in the air, and they were doing it like they're supposed to. And you get the ball in the hands of that young man, and this thing's going to happen.
Yeah, you added a few wrinkles today in Devon Moore's 20-yard reverse. I couldn't tell you the last time that you ran a reverse, much less one for a 20-yard score. Right. What was it like to go down in the bag of tricks a little bit?
Well, it was what we needed to do. We needed to give those guys a wrinkle, okay, and not be this is what they do, this is what we're expecting, those kind of things, to give them a little bit of wrinkle and say, whoa, they're not doing that. Trading formations off the sideline, we caught them a couple of times and we weren't ready for a different formation. So just proud of our kids and their execution.
Don't know if you are likely the 5 seed in the playoffs. I'm not entirely sure with the new format how much that means, but there's still a chance if you win that you could still be back here at Berktar Stadium. But how nice is it to send off Antonio Wimbush with a 14-carry, 148-yard day in his likely final game here in the friendly confines?
Well, it's very special, and he's one of those guys that deserve that kind of day. He works hard enough to get it, but he deserved that kind of day and getting the football in his hands. But I tell you what, he got the ball a couple times there, and it wasn't going to be denied. It didn't matter, all right? And so he's a guy that's special. And Troy Dendy and those other 6 running backs we've got, gosh, we're blessed with the depth at running back.
Blessed with an offensive line, too, that got a push all day long outside of that first drive.
Yes, they did, and made an adjustment on the sideline and, man, worked together well. And, you look like we get those kind of things done like that, you look like you're playing with some vision, buddy.
Given how talented Tusculum is and certainly how good their defense is this your most complete performance of the year?
I would probably say it's one of the tops, yes. It's one of the top complete performances, and it was a deal where, boy, those kids had a vision about them. They had a purpose about them, and more Senior Day, Military Appreciation Day, the Veterans Day deal. All of those things played into that, and we were just honored to be here and be able to play like that.
Playoffs are on the horizon. We can play the guessing game as to where you're going. My theory is Bowie State. We'll see how smart or stupid I am. It'll be one of the two. And there's 2 out of 3 chances that it's the latter of that one.
Right.
What do? Wait for selection show 5 p.m. tomorrow and regather for postseason football for the first time in your tenure as head coach and the first time since 2015.
Well, we've already started on a plan. We started on a plan on Wednesday about going to Bowie. All right, we've made phone calls and those kind of things and got buses on go, ready to go with Premier. And so we've got a plan when we want to leave and where we're going to go and spend the night and what we're going to do when we get up and those kind of things. So, yeah, you can't wait till Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock. So we've got that plan set, and it's going to be exciting for those kids. I told them that, the selection show was going to be at 5 o'clock, and somehow we'll get enough money to buy pizza. So I may have to go out in the parking lot right now and get some people up. But we'll have some pizza over there for them and have a good time together.
You don't have a PayPal, do you? You give that out and donate on air?
No, but I need to.
Mike Turner, pleasure as always. Congrats on an absolutely dominant Senior Day win.
Hey, thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. Great day for the Eagles.
That's Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. Domino's post-game report returns. We'll talk to Antonio Wimbush, Rondro Peebles when we get back after this on the Eagles Sports Network.
Domino's Pizza in Jefferson City and Morristown wants to help feed your business. When you're hungry at lunch, show your business card at Domino's in Jefferson City and Morristown when you make your purchase for pickup or delivery to get 25% off the entire order. That's 25% off your order at Domino's in Jeff City and Morristown when you show your business card. Call 865-471-6700 to get a pizza. Domino's, the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles.
Favorite thing about my street?
It's quiet.
Safe. The people.
We rely on each other.
And we rely on our Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
The co-op isn't just about electricity.
It's about power.
The power of information.
Safety.
Technology.
That's why whenever I have a question about energy, I always call my Touchstone Energy Cooperative first. Because in my community,
I am the co-op.
and the co-op is me.
AEC, member-owned and service-driven.
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings. Dude, subs.
Nah, hot dog.
No, Dodger dog.
I'll drink to that. Pass me a Coke. It's gotta be crawfish. Mac and cheese.
No. 7-layer dip.
Ribs. No contest.
Hummus. What? You need a hot grill and an ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke. Come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke. You know it.
It's tailgate 101.
This is the Eagles Sports Network. Back to the field after 60 seconds from your local stations.
First Baptist Academy in Powell seeks to assist parents by providing an excellent classical education that fosters a biblical worldview, striving to equip students to impact the world for Christ. Schedule a tour of FBA today by calling 947-8503 or visit the website at fbaeagles.org. Grades pre-K through 12th are available with an individualized teaching approach. Get your children into a discipleship model of education today with a family environment at First Baptist Academy Powell. Ask for more information and take a closer look at FBA soon. Call the office and set the appointment. 865-947-8503 or fbaeagles.org.
Carson-Newman Eagle football has been playing football since the 1880s. Well, Vaughn Pharmacy hadn't been around that long, but they're both great East Tennessee institutions. Vaughn Pharmacy is proud to support Carson-Newman Eagle football. Dwight Disney and his staff do an excellent job making sure you and your family get the medicines you need. Hi, this is Bob Bell. They've always taken care of us. They'll take care of you. Vaughn Pharmacy, across the road from Powell High School in the heart of Powell.
All right, back on the Domino's postgame report from Berktar Stadium. Carson-Newman wrapping up a 49-13 win over the Tusculum Pioneers. Eagles win their 4th straight game, and I don't see a scenario where Carson-Newman isn't in the playoffs for the first time since 2015. We'll see how far the Eagles can go. Likely, my guess, is a trip to Bowie State in Maryland for some crab cakes and a matchup with the Bulldogs next week. We'll have more on that tomorrow at 5 p.m. Check cneagles.com for details of the Eagles playoff game. We'll continue with Michael Wattrang down on the field. He's standing by with Antonio Wimbush, who tallied his 16th career 100-yard rushing performance today. Michael?
Carson-Newman wins on Senior Day, 49-13 over Tusculum, joined by Antonio Wimbush, Michael Wattrang for the Eagle Sports Network. And Wimbo, you were there 5 years ago, last time this team was able to make the playoffs, but you guys worked so hard. We talked about it day one, what this senior group needed to do to get to the playoffs. Well, here you're here. What's it feel like?
It feels great, man, just knowing that we got it done. I feel like this is honestly the best game we've played all year, a complete game, and that's a great look and going into playoffs. So I'm definitely happy with that.
Can you take us through the emotions at the end of the game? I know you guys were able to get a little bath for Mike Turner and then head into the locker room. What was that like to be able to celebrate with 25 seniors and then out here today with a lot of families here?
It was great, man. Just the atmosphere in there, it's great. The brotherhood that we have, we just talked about that all week, and we all know that in that room, we got each other's back, and just looking forward to next week.
Let's talk about this game real quick for a second, because that first drive, it looked like Tusculum's defense was going to be tough. Yeah. But after that, you guys made adjustments. You guys were able to get a 4-touchdown lead there at halftime. What changed for you guys?
We knew coming in, they were going to bring everything they had. But just us, playing Carson-Newman football. And honestly, I feel like, everyone did their job, and we got it done.
You guys' backs have been against the wall pretty much all season long this year. You're probably going on the road next week in the playoffs. What's it going to take for this team to make some kind of a run once you get to the playoffs?
Same thing, taking it one day at a time and staying focused with everything, and just giving it all to God. It's in His hands. So,
Wimbo, appreciate the time. Congrats on getting to the playoffs.
I appreciate it.
It's Antonio Wimbush. Back upstairs to you, Cav.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Wattrang. Antonio Wimbush leads all rushers, 14 carries for 148 yards. And a score, including a 67-yard jaunt that set up a Tyler Thackerson touchdown in the third quarter. Well, Rondro Peebles has put together an all-conference caliber campaign as a linebacker, 6 tackles, 5 of them solo, 2.5 sacks with 3.5 tackles for loss in that massive day for the Eagles defense today. And Rondro Peebles standing by down on the sidelines with Michael Wattrang.
Rondro Peebles, part of Carson-Newman's great defensive effort against the Tusculum Pioneers. CN wins it 49-13. Rondro, you guys are flying around out there today. I mean, you guys have had some great games all season long, but today was a masterpiece that you guys were able to do. What was it about the scouting, the film study, that you guys were able to be prepared for this Tusculum offense?
We were known as the team out west. So, we came ready, prepared like every other game. Coach, this was either win or go home, and we had to make sure that we got that win. So we just came out with aggression, played all 4 quarters this game, and that's what happens.
Tusculum, you mentioned that it was win or go home for you. Well, Tusculum had some things on the line for themselves. They had a 4-game winning streak. They were playing good football. They had a chance to have a winning record at the end of the day. So obviously they wanted to come up here and disrupt your playoff hopes. Why were you guys able to dominate every single play in this game against a team that was that hungry?
Because I feel like that we came out hungrier. I just feel like that we came out with more aggression. Like it was either win or go home. Like we haven't been in the playoffs for like in a minute. So that's what I'm saying. Like we just came out ready, and I feel like you seen what happened today.
10 sacks for this group, and you guys really did a great job of spreading the wealth. Why were you guys able to get into the backfield across the board in this game and be able to put pressure on their quarterback?
Actually believing in the blitzes, but like Coach Slade telling us, just go, keep going. Like no matter what blitz he called, just make sure that we keep going with aggression, keep going as hard as you can. And, they were scrambling a little bit, so, we got to them, and 10 sacks, I didn't know we had that many.
You guys pretty much have been playing playoff games from day one this year against a really good West Florida team, and then Wingate, you lose that game, and you knew probably at that point you almost had to win out in order to get to the playoffs. What's it mean now to finally feel that the hard work is done, you're in the playoffs, but there's still work left to do?
Yeah, the hard work, I feel like it's still not done yet, because we striving for greatness, and, we got a goal, so I feel like it's good that we won the regular season, but we knew that we could do this. So now as the playoffs come, we gotta go even harder.
Rondro, appreciate the time. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
It's Rondro Peebles. Back upstairs to you, Kev.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Watrang. Hey, Eagle fans, Domino's is the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. When you're hungry, reach for Domino's. Whether you're a student looking for a late-night snack or just out to eat with your coworkers, Domino's has a deal for you. You can get a large one-topping pizza for $5.99 with your Carson-Newman ID, or get 25% off your entire order when you bring in your business card at lunch. Domino's, it is the official pizza of the Carson-Newman Eagles. We'll put a bow on this one from Berktar Stadium as Carson-Newman prevails 49-13 over the Tusculum Pioneers, and then it's birthday party time for the Cavalier family as the Eagles prevail on Senior Day 49-13. ShopSeeingEagles.com, Sack Scoreboard heads your way when we get back after these messages. This is the Eagle Sports Network.
Okay, let's see. Carson-Newman University. It's been around since 1851. A beautiful campus, amazing student life, world-class accredited academics, competitive athletic programs, a Christian perspective, a top 10 best value school. They give $48 million in financial aid every year, and I get a free scholarship when I enroll. Looks like I've found the perfect place.
Hi, this is Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Turner. When you come to Carson-Newman for a game, there's only one place to eat, Lisa's Country Kitchen. Lisa's Country Kitchen has the best food for the best prices. I can tell you, after eating here for nearly 15 years, Lisa's is the most family-friendly restaurant in the Lakeway area. Stop by and tell Lisa I sent you, and go Eagles.
Lisa's Country Kitchen out of Route 92 off Old Andrew Johnson Highway. The best food for the best prices.
We select our insurance companies the same way you do, very carefully. When you work with us, you can count on receiving fast, courteous, and professional service and quality protection through auto owner's insurance. For a no-problem approach for your life, home, car, and business insurance needs, ask us about the No Problem Company. Auto Owners Insurance. Call Bible Insurance Agency at 423-586-4320 or go by 1600 East Andrew Johnson Highway in Morristown, serving the Lakeway area's insurance needs since 1931. A check of the ShopSeeingEagles.com Sack Scoreboard is next. This is the Eagles Sports Network.
Drive safer longer when you visit your local Michelin dealer, Fleet Tire, for a set of Michelin Defender tires. Michelin is the brand drivers turn to for tire options that deliver a safe, quiet, and comfortable ride. Fleet Tire, Woodland Avenue, exit 1B, Knoxville. Based on internal wet braking results versus Goodyear, Assurance, Comfort Tread tires, and third-party wear test results versus Continental ProTrack tires with Eco Plus. Manufacturers limited warranty for details. Tire, Woodland Avenue.
Nana, we can leave in a second. I need to pay a bill first. Well, don't you need to write a check? A check? No way. This is how we pay bills now, with our phone. And it's paid.
A lot has changed since Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union started 85 years ago. Whether you write checks or use tools like mobile check deposit or send money, we're helping you do more. Visit tvacreditunion.com to learn more. Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union, moving together through life, upward and forward. Federally insured by NCUA. Message and data rates may apply. Ask for details.
We close up shop on the Domino's postgame report from Berktar Stadium as the Eagles triumph over the Tusculum Pioneers 49-13 on Senior Day. Carson-Newman more than likely locking up a spot in the NCAA Division II playoffs. It'll be the 15th time in program history that Carson-Newman will be playoff bound as a Division II team, and the 26th time in program history that Carson-Newman will head to postseason play in general. We look around the ShopSeeingEagles.com Sack Scoreboard before we go on the day. Most action in the South Atlantic Conference, pretty much as expected, especially the games featuring Lenoir-Rhyne and Wingate to keep things on the level, at least for the other teams making the playoffs from the SAC. Lenoir-Rhyne thumps Catawba 49-3 to keep the Pioneers winless in South Atlantic Conference play this season, and Wingate has rallied. They were down 22-9 in the second quarter, and the Bulldogs, with 11 seconds left in the fourth quarter, up in a big way, 64-34 on the Mars Hill Lions. UVA-Wise traveled to UNC Pembroke, but it's the home-standing Braves who win 20-7 over the Highland Cavaliers, and Newberry wins in a rock fight over the Limestone Saints 14-10. 8-7. We're here on the Domino's postgame report. We're a big fan of paper on the Domino's postgame report, as my 1-year-old daughter is celebrating her birthday with a flip card from today's game. She's having a good time, and we're having a good time here on the Eagle Sports Network as we wrap up this Carson-Newman win over the Tusculum Pioneers. Yes, you are the only one in the booth that I'm okay with talking over me on air. So, Carson-Newman women's basketball in action today against the King Tornado. Eagles trailed at the halftime break 30 to 32 to the Tornado, but Carson-Newman comes back and wins 82-72 over King. You will likely see Mike Mincy's bunch ranked in the national rankings next week. Kayla Marisites, another beastly performance, 20 points, 17 rebounds, a double-double for Kayla Marisites. Tori Griffin, a career-high 23 points for the senior out of Jefferson County. Elsewhere in Super Region 2, Bowie State was taking on Fayetteville State in the CIAA title game, and it's the Bulldogs leading 14-0 over the Broncos at the halftime break over in Salem, Virginia. No score reported from the SEAC title game, and in what was largely considered an elimination game, at least Delta State had an outside chance at some playoff hopes if some things broke their way. Well, they haven't taken care of business over in Mississippi at Mississippi College. The Choctaws with a 37-6 third-quarter lead on the Statesmen over at Mississippi College. Valdosta State takes on West Georgia in the battle for the Peach Basket today at 6, and West Florida takes on West Alabama today at 5 p.m. For our entire cast and crew here on the Eagle Sports Network, we're certainly glad that you've spent Senior Day with us. For my counterpart on air, Michael Watrang, Leanda Carey, our sideline reporter, Brandon Roberts, our spotter, Dave Claybo, our man back inside the studios in Knoxville, and our in-booth engineer and graphics operator, Jackie Burns. Director today, Danielle Whaley. Replay technician was Philip Barger. And our camera operators, Kaylee Meadows, Sydney Spadafora, Christian Wazorek, and Danny Wazorek. I'm Adam Cavalier. Thanks for joining us all season long here on the Eagle Sports Network. We're not done yet. Carson-Newman in the playoffs. Head over to seeandeagles.com tomorrow around 5 to find out more about Carson-Newman's postseason fate. We are on the air again Monday night on the Eagle Sports Network from Holt Fieldhouse when Carson-Newman men's basketball takes on Tennessee Wesleyan at 7 p.m. Head over to seeandeagles.com to find out information about Carson-Newman's football game in the playoffs next week. For our entire cast and crew, I'm Adam Cavalier saying, once again, the final score from Berktar Stadium. It's Carson-Newman 49 and Tusculum 13. This is the Eagle Sports Network.
You've been